Welcome back to this channel. This is Trendy Storm and you're watching second and final part of What If Naruto Was Protected by the Strongest Saiyan. If you enjoyed this video, please like, share and subscribe to this channel. Now wasting no time, let's start the story.
The so-called Uchiha squabble took place a few years ago. After a month or so, the situation calmed down and not much was said about it. People went on. Naturally, Naruto's ability to pull off a major prank benefited from it. Putting a few stray cats outside the Inuzuka kennels is part of this. Following their immersion in meat sauces, Sasuke and Sakura were able to strengthen their bond, as was Naruto, but neither was aware of his tale. It remained hidden, though he assumed he would tell them if necessary. While he was at the academy, Akane had been keeping watch over Naruto's apartment outside the seal. She even made the effort to cook for him, and he seemed to enjoy it. He would even go so far as to claim that it was superior to ramen. Nearly. He continued to believe that the food of the gods was ramen. She was successful in persuading him to choose a burnt orange jumpsuit over a bright orange one. Making it herself, she added a little kitsune magic, as she called it, as an extra bonus. In essence, it enabled him to feel his genjutsu. In addition, it was far more resilient. One of his pranks also made Akane laugh a little. He succeeded in chopping off all of the Nara clan's deer's antlers and turning them into trees. Even though it was almost the start of winter, they were still perplexed as to how someone could accomplish that. Naruto did learn a little bit about gambling from Akane. As it happens, he was naturally skilled at winning at gambling. She attributed it to either being in Uzumaki or her container because she remembered that Kushina was the same way. She was unable to identify which. It was now time for the academy's graduation. Despite holding back for the most part, Naruto did alright during his stay. Sakura was very good at academics and strategy, and she even outperformed Naruto in trap-making. He would undoubtedly be at the top there. No one could discover the number of pranks he was involved in. A practical exam was the final test. One of the 3 academy jutsu had to be practiced. It seems that they used the clone jutsu in this one. All of Naruto's companions made it through. Hinata Hyuga, the timid girl, is among them. She always tried to sneak peeks at him, but he noticed that she would turn away when he looked at her. The same old Hinata. She becomes beet red and faints if he approaches her closely enough to touch her. He was informed by Sakura that she most likely liked him. His response was straightforward. "I know, it's just so much fun messing with her like that." Sakura emerged wearing a headband. Instead of using the shadow clone, Naruto used the regular clone when he entered. Given that Akane was not giving much thought to his chakra being outside of his body, he had positive outcomes. He passed after creating 10 clones. He decided on a headband. He was black. Iruka returned to the classroom with his assistant Mizuki once everyone had returned. Naruto ignored his lengthy speech as he said, "Congratulations to all who graduated. Be here in 1 week for team placements. I'll see you then." When Mizuki and everyone else had left, Iruka drew Naruto aside. "Naruto, I heard you've been helping Lord Hokage with some difficult tasks during your time at the academy. You mind helping me out with something?" Naruto answered, "Depends on what you need help with. If I can help, and Gigi needs to know, I'll run it by him." Mizuki has seemed a little distant lately. I once caught him mumbling something about a stupid demon preventing him from doing anything. I have a feeling he's up to something. I hope you can find out what. Naruto gave a nod. "That, I can do with ease. I'll find out, and if he tries something stupid, I'll take of it." Iruka gave a nod. Naruto grinned and said, "Just make sure he's alive to face a trial if needed." Naruto waved as he left the classroom, saying, "I'll try and hold back." A few hours later through the trees, Naruto was leaping. Why, you ask? To capture Mizuki. When a failed student took a forbidden scroll, he received the drop. He was aware that Mizuki was involved, but he was unsure of the reason. Finding the child didn't take him long. "Hey, you're one of the students that didn't graduate, aren't you?" The boy said, "What are you doing here? I thought you already passed?" "Well, considering the fact you've got a scroll with jutsu that even Junin have problems using, I figured I'd come see what you wanted to do with it." "What do you mean? This is supposed to be my make-up exam. Mizuki Sensei told me about it. Said if I could learn a jutsu from it I could pass," the kid replied. Naruto gave him a look. The youngster was speaking the truth as he understood it. Then Iruka touched down in the open space. Naruto quickly realized it was him. "Kid, whatever bullshit Mizuki told you, don't believe him. There is no make-up exam this quickly. It would wait another month before that came along." This line caught Iruka's eye. "What are you talking about, Naruto?" And why does he have the scroll? Naruto told him, why don't you ask Mizuki when he gets here, most likely to kill whoever has the scroll, so he could take it to some rogue on the outside? Before a group of kunai approached him and the child, he shoved the child aside, grabbed the scroll, and dodged the incoming projectiles. A voice that sounded too familiar asked, so, Naruto, you came as well? With two Fuma shuriken on his back, Mizuki emerged from a branch. Naruto said calmly, so, the traitor shows himself at last. Who do you work for, Mizuki? I know you can't handle any of the jutsu in there. I've been through it myself not once, but twice. Both times with permission from the Hokage himself. You don't even have half the reserves for 90% of the shit in there. Well, it looks like the little demon is trying to play it smart, Mizuki responded. Iruka went into a panic. Mizuki, no, you want to know why the village hates you? Naruto pretended to be intrigued. What do you mean? Why do they hate me? Iruka screamed, no, it's forbidden to talk about. In the children's ear, Naruto whispered. Before Mizuki could finish his tirade, the child nodded and fled the area, saying, get out of here, fast. Shit is about to hit the fan. Mizuki shouted, you are the Kyuubi no Yoko. Naruto just gazed indifferently. They were both perplexed by the statement. Okay, if that's what you think, I'll play along for a bit. He displayed his tail, which resembled a monkey's tail, and asked, if I were a fox, why would I have a monkey tail? Iruka gave a face. Fail. Mizuki was astounded by the blonde's blatant stupidity. In response to Mizuki's amazed look, Naruto grinned and said, okay, by the way, I've known about the Kyuubi. I've known since I was 5. Now tell me, how does a demonic fox have a monkey's tail? Or a better question, how can both the Kyuubi and myself stand side by side, yet think different thoughts? They were both surprised by that one. Mizuki then fell to the ground after being kicked in the spleen from behind. From the same branch that Mizuki was on, Akane said, sorry, but I couldn't resist kicking the bastard. Naruto praised Akane and said, no worries, Akane. That was perfect timing. Iruka looked at the new girl and said, Naruto, who's this? Naruto said, one of my guardians. Of course, you wouldn't notice how much power she truly has, since she hides it pretty damn well. She has maybe half of the Kyuubi's strength in her. What? Inquired Iruka. How? Naruto answered, you don't want to know. Mizuki just stood up again. Naruto gave the scroll to Iruka. Take this back to the Hokage. We'll deal with the traitor. Make sure you stay out of the way, and don't mention the tale. I've kept it secret the same amount of time as I've known about the Kyuubi. Give or take a few days. Are you sure about this? I can take on Maida Guy, in his own specialty, and beat him when I'm being strapped down and weakened to less than 1% of my full strength. I'm pretty sure I can take on a half. Baked Chunin, replied Naruto. With a shuriken in his direction, Mizuki exclaimed, you're welcome to try, little fox. Just as it was about to strike Naruto, he vanished. Naruto questioned him from behind, is that all you got? Before he could leap away, he was kicked in the side in the direction of Akane, who then kicked him higher into the air. Before long, a golden yellow light surrounded Naruto. He rushed at Mizuki and struck him quickly and forcefully. Naruto kicked him after charging after him in a curve after he flew far. Charged him once more before striking him in the direction of the ground, creating a crater that was 30 feet wide and had Mizuki in the middle. The golden aura was still there when he landed in the crater. Mizuki remained awake. What are you? Naruto answered, your worst nightmare come to life. The wrath of a Saiyan is the second worst thing you can come across. In an instant, Akane was just beside him, and here I thought you would have gone for a one-hit KO. And miss a chance to pound the guy that tried to get me to fail more times than I care to count? Replied Naruto. Point taken. I want in on the action though, Akane replied. No killing, but we'll beat him senseless. They both simultaneously made a call and made a single hand sign, multi-shadow clone jutsu. Both Naruto and Akane had 500 shadow clones. Let's pound the bastard. Everyone in the room began hammering Mizuki for 10 minutes in a row. They defeated the shadow clones after this was finished. Naruto remarked, okay, I've had my fun. I could go for more, but we'd be putting his life in danger, and right now, that's not something I'd want to be responsible for. Akane acknowledged. I'm still not in Sarutobi's good graces yet. A voice from the crater's edge said, well, you are now. Sarutobi was entering the scene on foot. Your self-control is a lot better than I thought, and all this time, I'm surprised that you have yet to kill off anyone. The most you've done is prank someone, maybe injure them. not once have you killed anyone. You think I'd try something like that if they didn't completely deserve it, replied Akane. Of course, he does, but right now, I don't think it's a good idea. By the way, Naruto. Pretty good idea using the tail to make him lose focus. He was so lost in thought my first kick got the spleen. Naruto turned Mizuki onto his side and remarked, I noticed. Oh, one more thing before he gets slammed in prison. Want a free groin shot? Sarutobi looked at Akane and shrugged. She approached Mizuki and gave him a groin kick. Hard. He won't be having any more kids. I just made sure of that. At that Sarutobi laughed. Naruto let out a sigh. I figured you'd want that, considering I've heard several times that he's raped several women, and got away with it. If I did something, I'd rip the thing off. Sarutobi gave him a startled look. He what? It wasn't my own knowledge, but the knowledge of the wildlife. I can communicate with foxes easily, you know. Naruto replied. There may only be a few, but they hear a lot more than most would think. Akane acknowledged, that specific trait is there because I was sealed in you. Kushina could do the same thing. At that, Naruto shrugged. All right, then, I suppose we'll let you handle him. He gestured to Mizuki's unconscious body. Can you at least help me get him back to the village? With a shrug, Naruto created several shadow clones. They nodded, picked up the body, and leapt off, saying, You know what to do. Sarutobi let out a sigh. You know, Naruto. I'm not sure what to think about what's going on between you two. Naruto acknowledged that, sometimes, I wonder myself. I try not to think about it, though. No use thinking about what ifs, am I right? At that, Sarutobi and Akane both nodded. I have some news for you, Naruto. Sarutobi was suddenly alert, asking, Who's there? King Kai? Inquired Naruto. Kid, who else? That's what the voice said. I was given the go at last. I'd be happy to teach you what Goku couldn't, so feel free to visit Otherworld. Actually, what he learned from you won't really help me much. Sure, the spirit bomb would help, but that's not something I'd need just yet. He told you it's better to be ready, didn't he? Akane said, Actually, that was me. Goku normally charged in, kicked ass, saved a few lives and left. What's your point? Don't bother, Akane. It's useless to bother arguing with him. Goku could never win one with him, and he's one of the few to ever make him laugh. Naruto stated to her. Oh, and you believe that you are capable of doing better? Why don't you check out what happened 4 months, 2 weeks, and 3 days ago to the Hyuga clan? If you can do that, see the results. According to Sarutobi, wait, that was you? Naruto questioned, you expect anyone else? I'm the second best prankster in the village. The best happens to be right there. He glanced at Akane. My skill is below hers. She could make anything from a harmless prank, to a gut-wrenching, pride-insulting prank. Those tend to be the worst she does, but following the same thing, she could easily kill someone. That's one of the many specialties of the Kitsune. Sarutobi's eyebrow went up. Anyway, since I'm already a genin, I think it's time I take the lava monkeys up on their offer now. Akane gave him a look. Are you sure about this? They did say that once I become a ninja the offer would be valid, or if I don't make it into the ninja ranks by 14, I'd be able to then, and become a mercenary. Oh. There have been rumors of someone among the Kais reviving, but I doubt Akane told you about it before I forget. Both your name and someone named Kushina have been mentioned multiple times. Why you two are involved is still a mystery to me. Naruto declared, Kushina Uzumaki is my mother, and she died the day I was born. Since I still don't know myself, I'll research her and see what happened to her. When I can, I'll let you know. Then go one-on-one telepathy instead of area of effect, and hope I'm not on a mission, or training with the lava monkeys. Replied Naruto. Any other time is good. Noted. See you later. Naruto let out a sigh. Akane, this is something I'd be doing solo. You'll have to dispel while this goes on. Gigi, I'll try to be back the day before team placements. If I could make a suggestion, though. Sasuke, myself, and Sakura would make a good team. We know each other's strengths, well aside from the things I've kept secret from everyone, and I can cover their weaknesses. Konohagakure thrives on teamwork, so what would you think? Sarutobi gave a nod. I'll take that into consideration. Naruto gave a nod. Akane nodded and brushed it off as he glanced at her. He directed chakra into the seal on his shoulder blade and said, See you later, Gigi. In 3 seconds, he vanished. Jungle, Whirlpool Island immediately in front of Gondaba, Naruto appeared. Hey, Gondaba. Been a while, hasn't it? That it has, Naruto. I take it you are finally ready to sign for the summoning? Naruto said, "That's why I'm here." Gandaba glanced at one of his subordinates after nodding. Before departing and returning with a large scroll, the monkey said, "I'll get it, sir." Naruto followed Gandaba's instructions to sign your name in blood, and put your fingerprints on one hand, the same hand you signed with right below it. Then Naruto said, "All right, now what?" This is how Gandaba described the summoning jutsu. Naruto gave a nod. He slammed the hand down on the floor, went through the hand signs he was shown, and bit his thumb to make it bleed again. Then Gandayu was before him. "Naruto, did you just summon me?" In response, Naruto said, "Hey, Gandayu." "Yeah, I did, finally signed." Gandaba gave a nod. "All right, now try to summon me. I would take about 3 times as much as him usually." Naruto nodded and successfully summoned Gandaba in the same way. "Good, now know one thing. If you summon me outside our realm, then I will truly be 20 stories tall, and you will likely be on my head." "Good to know. Anything I should work on regarding the lava monkeys? I may know a lot about the Uzumaki clan, but I know little about you guys, your abilities, aside from lava jutsu, stories, and possible combinations," acknowledged Naruto. "Curious are we?" Naruto answered, "I'm just trying to prepare for anything. I will admit that curiosity is a part of it, but only a small margin." "Gandayu, I believe it is time we explain just what we can do, since he signed with us." Gandaba responded. "Also know that you will not be able to sign another summoning contract. Summons don't work well together." "I understand. That means I can't go for my father's summoning contract. The toads," replied Naruto. "A shame, really, but who am I to judge? If you can convince them to allow it, I will have no problems as long as you summon from us both from time to time." Naruto grinned. "Thanks for the thought. I'd have to think about that, and I've got some time before that could happen. For now, I'll focus on working in tandem with you guys, and worry about the toads later." Gandayu began, "Then let's begin." 1 week later. Sakura was in front of Naruto as he approached the academy. "Hey, Sakura, what's up?" Sakura ran up to Naruto and exclaimed, "Naruto, there you are. Where were you the past week?" Naruto stated, "I was out of the village training. Today is the day we drop our masks for good. You remember the talk we had near the beginning of the academy?" Sakura answered, "How could I forget? So, we're going to pull all the stops?" She was informed by Naruto, as many as possible. They arrived at the academy's entrance. "Well, let's find out what team we're on." In the classroom, Sasuke, Sakura, and Naruto were seated in a row close to the middle. When Iruka entered, everyone was curious about Mizuki's whereabouts. A graduate inquired about it. He turned to face Naruto and said, "Mizuki was branded a traitor and was captured, after a severe beating." "Severe beating is an understatement, Iruka. Sensei," said Naruto. The men in the classroom clutched their groins in phantom agony as they said, "Aside from that, he wouldn't be able to have any kids. Ever." Instead of doing so, Sasuke grinned. "What did you do? Cut, bash, or something else?" "Me? I didn't do that. You've both met Akane. She did it. Crushed it, and I got word that it was jammed so far in, he might be considered a female, now." Naruto laughed. Sakura burst out laughing at the assertion, and Sasuke laughed as well. That guy probably had it coming. Naruto turned to face Iruka after saying, "That's an understatement. Can we continue?" Iruka gave a nod. Iruka called off the names, saying, "Okay, listen for your name, and your teammates." Most of the people on teams 1 to 6 weren't significant to anyone else. When they said, "Team 7, Naruto Uzumaki, Sakura Haruno," both of them immediately smirked, frightening Sasuke for a moment. He hoped that neither of them would pull a practical joke on him, and Sasuke Uchiha. Knowing that this team was going to kick ass, he instantly lost all fear. Normally, we'd have the Rookie of the Year, which was Naruto, with the bottom of the class, and the best Kunoichi, but this team itself was a request of the Hokage as a first strike team, if needed. I'd say they have that covered. Each of them gave a nod. Teammate, Hinata Hyuga, Kiba Inuzuka, and Shino Aburame. All 3 nodded, but Hinata's head remained lowered. Team 9 is still in circulation. Team 10, Ino Yamanaka, Shikamaru Nara, and Choji Akamichi. Iruka ended the book. "Your Junin senseis will be here shortly. I wish you all luck." Naruto recognized one of the individuals who entered as Asuma Sarutobi. It was obvious from the sash on his hip. Choji yelled joyfully, "Team 10, barbecue restaurant. 10 minutes." Naruto took notice of the group's female member. After that, he ignored her, saying, "Team 8, you're with me. She had previously been assigned to the roles of Kurenai Yuhi, Konoha's Ice Queen, and Genjutsu Mistress. Team 7 was the last to enter, and it only took 10 minutes. If nothing else, Iruka was still there to keep them company. Iruka. Sensei, I think you should let us talk amongst ourselves. We'll be good, and I won't set up a trap for the next person to come in here after we leave. Provided it's not Kakashi Hitaki that's our sensei. If it is, then I've got the perfect prank for him, one that can get us information and blackmail that no one else could get. Iruka questioned, how will you know if it's him? You leave that to me. I know what his chakra feels like, and I know that he's late to anything short of an A-rank mission or war council. Replied Naruto. I'm good. Iruka gave a shrug. Alright. I'll leave you to it. Get me a picture of the result, if you please. The smirking Naruto said, I plan on it. Naruto played Sasuke after opening a Go board. They spent 2 hours playing. It's been 2 hours, and he's still not here. That means it's Kakashi. No doubt about that. Sakura, Sasuke, no stakes poker? They played a little and nodded. They kept playing even though the trap had already been set. 3 hours passed before the door finally opened and he poked his head through. He was hanging upside down with his mask missing when the trap went off. He said, okay, what the hell? Naruto held up a picture that Kakashi would normally have been prohibited from taking, but he was able to do so. Don't be so late next time, and you won't get the pictures of your true face posted on every billboard in the village. In addition, he took Kakashi's mask off his sleeve. Also, I've got your mask, so if you want it back, don't say you hate us, and no bullshitting on the introductions. Kakashi dropped to the ground as Naruto snapped his fingers. Okay, you three will be interesting group. Roof 5 minutes. Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto made the decision to go up there. Outside of the wall. They were all able to ascend the wall and reach it simultaneously with Naruto. They climbed over the railing, and Kakashi saw it. Well, let's introduce ourselves. Sakura said, why don't you go first? You know, show us how it's done. And this is the intelligent one? He patted his pouch and said, all right, then. My name is Kakashi Hitaki. My hobbies are personal. My likes are my own, and I don't like to talk about my dislikes. He gestured to Sakura and said, and my dream. I haven't had one in a while, you're first. Sakura gave a nod. My name is Sakura Haruno. My likes, I'd say, are Naruto, foxes and monkeys. Don't ask me why, though. My dislikes, I'd say those who judge without knowing any of the facts. Hobbies, I won't go into that. My dream is to become the best trap maker possible. Blondie, you're up. My name is Naruto Uzumaki. My likes, well, you know pranking is one of them. Everyone does. Aside from that, lava baths and ramen. There aren't many things I dislike, but ignorance and arrogance are of those I can't stand. Honestly, I'm glad those stuck-up Uchihas went down. They held the top spot on both of those lists. Now they're a lot more tolerable, and I hold no hate towards the remainder of them. My hobbies. Not going into them, as you would know that one with ease, along with meditation. My dream. Actually I have two, should one be made impossible. The first one is to become Hokage. The second is to restore Whirlpool Country to its former glory. Either way it goes, I intend to restore the Uzumaki clan. According to Kakashi, Duckbutt. Sasuke Uchiha, few likes, more dislikes, my only hobby, I'm not sharing. My dream? I don't have one. I have an ambition. I will restore the honor of the Uchiha clan within the village. The old Uchiha clan made too many mistakes, and now we have a chance to correct them. I'm taking that chance for all it's worth. Alright, what a strange bunch. The reports don't match at all. Alright, excluding Sasuke. Okay, before we go any further, I have one question for Naruto. What did you mean by lava bath? That should be dangerous. Naruto's involvement with the lava bath seems to be concerning me. For me? Not really. I've gone swimming in a partially active volcano. It'll never blow its top, but it won't stay dormant. As such, the lava stays at the same level no matter what. After a while, you get used to it. Kakashi inquired, where is this volcano? The response from Naruto was, Whirlpool Country. Yes, I've been there. No, I can't take you there. The volcano itself is only accessible if the inhabitants of that area allow you into their village. I'm the first one in 30 or so years to go in without trouble, and only because I'm an Uzumaki. Is there any way for me to see it? There is, but you'd have to gain their trust. My trust will not work. Proxy or not. Oh, and you can ask Yugo Uzuki about it. She knows I'm telling the truth, and she once saw me jump in from 20 feet above the surface. Good times, Naruto recalled. Sasuke looked surprised when Kakashi said, "Okay, meet me at Training Ground 7 tomorrow for your Genin test." Sakura and Naruto, on the other hand, gave him a disinterested look. "What do you mean Genin test? I thought we were already Genin." Naruto remarked, "I kind of saw this coming. I mean, when you think about it, the graduation exam last week was a little too easy, if you ask me." "Okay, I'll admit I saw it coming, but I didn't find a reason why I did," acknowledged Sakura. Though, Naruto's point would work. Kakashi gave the two a look. "All right, they are as intelligent as the records indicate." Kakashi departed in a shunshin with the words, "Tomorrow, Training Ground 70700. And don't eat breakfast. You'll puke if you do." Naruto stood up. "Well, that's that. Now here's the gist of it. He's likely to try and split us up by having us fight with each other over some objective. As for the no breakfast piece, I'm good for maybe 5 more days. I won't need to eat anything during that time." He opened the bag and took 2 beans out. "Eat one tonight, and you won't have to worry about breakfast tomorrow. Or lunch. Or dinner. For 9 or 10 days. Normally depends on what you do." Sasuke questioned, "One bean can do all that?" "All that and more. I've been growing them for a while. They're better than soldier pills for several reasons, but that thing can probably keep an Akamichi full for 8 days, give or take a few hours. You know how much they eat, right? I keep them for emergency issues, but this is something we can use to our advantage." Naruto clarified. Each of them took one and consumed it. They were immediately satisfied. Rumor has it one can go on a diet with these. That's a common misconception. You won't lose weight with these alone. You'd have to exercise still. Naruto stated. "Sakura, have you been allowing your eyes to adjust when your weights are off?" A smile. "And Sasuke, what about your skills?" "I'm good. If he pulls something I can't handle, then I'm going there, and using what I can. It's got 2 in each still," Sasuke replied. "Alright. See you guys tomorrow. I'm going to do a few things first," replied Naruto. He faded away, saying, "Later." The following day, in front of the Hokage himself, a number of Junins stood in the Hokage's tower. The new Genin teams. Pass or fail. Report. Team 1. Fail. Team 2. Fail. Team 3. Fail. It was Kakashi's turn a few seconds later. They all awaited the inevitable failure. Team 7. Pass. Some were taken aback by that. Eyes turned as Sarutobi said, "I was wondering if they were going to catch what you were doing. Looks like taking the suggestion was a good idea." "Good idea?" inquired Kakashi. "They almost killed me 8 times before the end of it all. And even then, they not only had the bells, but Naruto held a small flame underneath my signed, limited edition Icha Icha Paradise." He stopped and noticed the snickers. "Aside from that, the test was over in 20 minutes. They had 2 hours. They all hid, but it didn't take long for them to charge." One of the Junin stated, "It was probably because of the Uchiha." Kakashi scowled at him and said, "No, they all worked on it. From the start. What, exactly, happened?" Rewind. In Training Ground 7, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were seated beside the stumps. 3 hours later, Kakashi entered. It is 10 in the morning. No complaints were made. Kakashi pulled out 2 bells and said, "Well, since we're all here, let me explain the rules." He listened for growls but heard none. "Your objective is to obtain these bells. Whoever doesn't get one will fail and be sent back to the academy. They will also go without lunch. Also, you must come at me with the intent to kill. Otherwise, you won't get the bells." Naruto let out a sigh. "I'm not going that far. I may be the only one here that powerful, but I can keep up with Guy in a straight taijutsu match, at below 1% strength. That's without enhancements. I would squash you like a bug. These 2 may not be able to, but we're gonna need a sensei, so I'll have tone it down." Kakashi shot back, "Say that after you've gotten a bell. The alarm is set to noon. Begin." The 3 of them hid. Kakashi thought, "So, they've got stealth down. Far better than I thought. Sakura and Sasuke, I can barely sense them. They're both hidden highly well. Naruto. He was forced to avoid a blow. Only his instincts from the war kept him from getting struck by Naruto. So, you're obviously good at masking your presence." Naruto attempted to kick him in the head but was thwarted. "You do realize that you're talking to someone who managed to dye the entire Hyuga clan underwear another color, 3 times, in broad daylight, right?" Naruto asked. Kakashi struggled to avoid being struck. He was aware that his claim to be able to keep up with Guy was serious. He leapt back. Alright, Ninja Skill 1. Taijutsu. You've got that down, obviously. At this, Naruto grinned. As soon as he was done, Kakashi was seized by the ankles. After being dragged to the ground, he vanished into the smoke. Naruto pondered, shadow clone. Sakura emerged. So what now? In response, Naruto said, Plan B, Sakura said, alright, and then they both fell asleep. When Kakashi noticed this, he located Sasuke. What do you know? You ditched them, and come after me. Kakashi began, oh, I was just wondering something. He started to say, why? But was interrupted by a yellow light, which only caused him to recoil. He briefly believed he saw his former sensei. With a sly smile, Sasuke performed several hand signals. Kaden, Grand Fireball Jutsu. Kakashi vanished when a giant fireball flew in his direction. Both Sakura and Naruto were aware of this, and when Sakura punched the ground, a ton of chakra was released. Shell-shocked, Kakashi was discovered in the debris. Naruto declared, ninjutsu, done. Kakashi was unable to determine the reason behind their disappearance. Although he couldn't sense them anywhere, he was unable to feel the effects of a genjutsu. They quickly came into view on his radar and were now behind him. Sakura and Sasuke each had a bell. So, it looks like Naruto's the one heading back to the academy. Not quite. Naruto produced a well-known orange book and held it over his flaming other hand. Kakashi was worried. We got the bells with ease, and only had to resort to our second plan, of the 9 we had. Tell me. Did you feel the effects of Sakura's genjutsu, which she learned from Akane? Kakashi shot back, there wasn't a genjutsu. I would have picked it up. When she said he wouldn't pick it up, she wasn't kidding, said Sakura. That's the wonder of Kitsune illusions. Few humans, short of Jinchuriki, can tell the difference between a Kitsune illusion and reality. I wonder how Kurenai Yuhi would handle one of them, he thought. As for Sasuke, he has a bell, but didn't do anything, Kakashi replied. Naruto replied, not quite. Then Sasuke went on. The plan was to get you to go underground, so Sakura can reveal your location with one well-aimed smack. If you didn't notice, I got you underground with my Grand Fireball Jutsu. While you were in shock at what happened, Sakura cast that same Kitsune illusion, and good job on that by the way, and we disappeared from your sight. I used the same one myself, instead of letting her do so for me, said Naruto. We each got a bell while you were still in shock, and I grabbed this book, which I believe is a rare copy. We win this round. Kakashi was taken aback by the extreme strategies employed. Kakashi received surprised looks as he said, alright then. You fail. You fail because you did things no other team could ever do. And that, my friends, he said, is pass the bell test. Several face faults are triggered. Kakashi laughed. Sorry, but I couldn't resist. Tomorrow we begin missions as Team Kakashi. Flashback over Kakashi informed them, as you can see, their teamwork is above and beyond all expectations. Well then, let's continue with the others. Kurenai, Konoha's Ice Queen, declared, Team 8, pass. Asuma said, Team 10, pass. Alright. It looks like the one that was requested, the tracking team, and the second generation Ino. Shika. Show squads are the only ones that passed, Sarutobi replied. Kakashi said, Lord Hokage, if I may? Sarutobi gave him a look. Go ahead. With the exception of Sarutobi, who were expecting it, Kakashi's statement, it appears as though Naruto Uzumaki has a tail, startled everyone in the room. So he finally showed it to you, Kakashi added, and his teammates. The whole place was confused when someone said, what gets me is that it's a monkey tail, not a fox tail. There's a distinct difference between the two. It's what he did with it that gets me, though. Sarutobi asked, suddenly concerned, what did he do? He tripped me with it, and I didn't even sense it coming, danger sense or not. As I was going down it struck me in a place I'm not going to mention. But I will say I'll have some trouble taking a piss for a few days. Kakashi remarked on his own words. In phantom pain, the men in the room clutched their groins. After allowing everyone to gather their thoughts, Sarutobi remarked, okay, that's enough of that. Everyone that failed their teams will have a week off before resuming their normal duties. Dismissed. Except for Kakashi, everyone departed in a shunshin. He said he would kill me if he went all out. I didn't doubt him, considering the fact he's gone up against Guy in taijutsu alone, and kept up with him. This is a well-known fact, he's a taijutsu beast. The orange beast of Konohagakure. You thought he used Hiraishin during your test, didn't you? Sarutobi inquired. Yes, he did use it, but I didn't find any seals for him to use. He doesn't know which seals are required for it. He doesn't know the Hiraishin. For him, that was pure speed, combined with a glow that only he can accomplish. Sarutobi explained to him. Not once has he gone for it, and he doesn't seem to need it either. His speed is far beyond that of anything else, as he can emulate the Hiraishin with pure speed. How can that be possible? He's done so before, but rarely. I've only caught it once, and asked him about it myself. Also, if he pulls out a bow staff, be careful of it. Kakashi inquired, anything else I should be wary of? 2 things. If he is surrounded by a golden aura, and pissed off, make sure the others don't do anything. It would be suicide for me to go up against him when he's like that. And that's in my prime. I only have one piece of advice to give you. Never piss him off. And the other? Kakashi shook his head and said, his jutsu. He didn't use any in your fight, did he? Well, I know he has fire, earth, wind and lava jutsu. Aside from that, he has had training that would put Guy's regiment to shame. I only got a brief explanation. To go through that at 6 years old. I don't want to know how he lived through it. Kakashi questioned, he can use lava element. He also can use dust element, but he has no training there, whatsoever. Sarutobi replied. Okay, I can help there. I managed to copy a few during the last war. I could try to teach him to use it, replied Kakashi. Very well, said Sarutobi. Dismissed. Kakashi departed. What exactly did you do with the lava monkeys last week, Naruto? Sarutobi pondered. 3 days later, Kakashi was awaited by Naruto, Sakura, and Sasuke. Okay, so what the hell is going on here? And why is he always late? According to Naruto, morning. I heard about his Genin team, and one of his teammates gave his life to save Kakashi, resulting in his transplanted left eye. Both of them looked at him. I took the liberty of going through a few medical records. Apparently, his left eye is that of Obito Uchiha, whose eye would work, but the nerve connections were shot. The eye itself is kept as a Sharingan, since he can't turn it off, or it won't turn back on. That's why his headband is over that eye. When was this? Inquired Sasuke. Naruto turned to the nearby post and remarked, the last great ninja war. It was before we were born, and he was on my father's team. My father taught him. A few seconds later, Kakashi was there. Yo, Naruto remarked, don't give a reason for your tardiness. And by the way, I still have the picture. Kakashi flinched. Okay, there are no missions today, so. Everyone turned to stare at Naruto as he said, we're going to work on something I think is necessary. They're going to need to learn how to resist a massive amount of bloodlust and killing intent. If something goes wrong on a C rank and it gets upgraded, we can still continue, but if we get paralyzed due to fear from either one, we'll freeze up and become helpless. Kakashi gave that a nod. Those kinds of situations are rare, but it could help. Alright then. Training ground 44. Be at the south side in 1 hour, and Kakashi, you're coming as well, and you better not be late. Otherwise, you'll be getting my power pull up your ass and send sky high. You have been warned. Naruto glanced at the others and they all nodded. He lost interest. Kakashi thought, this is going to require a lot more paperwork. Alright, we might want to head over there. As in, right now. Knowing that if Kakashi were late, he would get it, they all nodded. 1 hour later. At this point, Team Kakashi was just outside a fence. Lined forested area. Welcome to Training Ground 44. AKA the Forest of Death. Kakashi inquired, why did you choose this place? No one in their right mind would go in there. Naruto stated, that's one reason, right there. Another reason is the little detail about what I'm going to do. The village hates me for a reason. That same reason happens to be why I can put you through this in the first place. When Sasuke asked, what do you mean? I'm sorry, but that's supposed to be an S-class secret. Naruto replied, all you need to know is that once you can withstand a certain level of ki, you'll be prepared for even an S-rank rogue's ki. Kakashi questioned, are you sure you can control it? I've fought at 4 tails for 3 hours, and didn't lose a shred of my humanity. In enhanced gravity, and resistor seals set at level 32. What does that tell you? Replied Naruto. He nodded a few seconds later. Any way to suppress it so the village doesn't realize what's going on? Naruto questioned, why else do you think I chose this place for that? This place has a reputation. 4 tails is a bit much, as everyone in the village would feel that. Unless it was inside of a barrier. That's why there was a 1 hour delay. I had to set up a big enough area for this. On the inside, One will feel the full force of it, while on the outside, it'll just blend in with the rest of it. Clever, said Kakashi. Okay then, where is it? Naruto gave a nod. The others followed Naruto as he leapt over the fence, saying, stay behind me, and try to keep up. To allow the others to keep up, he maintained a slow pace. Shortly afterward, they arrived at a clearing. Naruto grinned and said, here we are. His expression quickly became solemn, and now to begin. Naruto performed a series of hand signs, all of which caused them to become immobile. What are you doing? Yelled Kakashi. Naruto stated, this is the first step. Those seal arrays you are currently in happen to be mixed with one tail of Yuki each. Your goal is to get out of it. It will constantly emit killing intent as if it were an actual threat to your life. Kakashi, yours is more halfway between 1 and 2 tails. Sakura and Sasuke saw this, but they were immobile. Naruto pulled out a book, settled in, and started reading. Sasuke was beginning to reach for a kunai, and they remained this way for a few hours. Kakashi had left already. Without raising his eyes from his book, Naruto remarked, no injuries, Sasuke. You cannot rely on a gimmick such as that. You have to get out of it under your own willpower. I can't, he said in a shaky voice. Those are 2 words that I don't know the meaning of. Naruto replied. Another phrase I don't know the meaning of is give up. 6 hours later, Sakura was able to escape. Sasuke could move around a little, but he was still trapped. Sakura's breathing was labored. Looks like Sakura is out. Kakashi is out as well. Sasuke was still having trouble. Sasuke collapsed to his knees as Naruto shut his book and turned off the seals. Alright, that's enough for today. Don't want you to go insane. Sasuke took a seat and waited for the effects to wear off. Naruto raised his voice. I take it they got worse after a while, Sasuke. A smile. Well, then you've got a lot more to learn than you thought. Kakashi and Sakura turned to face him. Those seals only had 1 to 2 tails of Yuki in them. However, Sasuke's was 3 times as powerful as Kakashi's. Do you want to know why this is? Why? Sasuke asked as he left. It's because you hold too many regrets, too many negative thoughts on your mind. That increased the effects due to the seal itself. I went through the same thing, and it did the same to me. After a while, the effects didn't increase. Do you want to know why? Replied Naruto. Kakashi gave him a look. I think we'd all like to know the answer to that. It's because I learned to forgive and forget. I made peace with what I've done, and those that have passed on. I have no regrets about any actions I've done. It's apparent that you haven't. Sasuke was told by Naruto. That's why the effects were beyond Kakashi's. Your own thoughts were amplifying it. Kakashi questioned, then why didn't you do anything? Because killing intent feeds off of negative emotions and enhances them. It's not a widely known fact. That's why it's a feared technique. It enhances your own negative thoughts and turns it into fear which you feel. That's why Goku doesn't feel anything, even with 7 tails of Yuki staring him straight in the face. Not to mention the bloodlust involved. He may have been scared, but he knows how to push past it and not regret what he does. He is considered pure of heart and a true warrior. He always has been. Of course, it helps that he's been through worse, but that's besides the point. He holds no negative thoughts. Despite the somewhat casual tone of voice, Sasuke could see the seriousness in his eyes. How much did mine go to? He heard Naruto say, 3 tails. There was only 1 tail of Yuki in there, but the effects you felt were from 3 tails. In order for that much of a boost, you regret a lot of things. You probably never learned to forgive, or forget. I could go on, but you get the idea. Sasuke let out a sigh of relief. How can I get rid of those negative thoughts? Naruto acknowledged, I can't answer that. Only you can. However, I can give you one way to find out just what the cause is. Meditation is the best thing you can use to find it. Sasuke gave a nod. I think I should get past all of that before I go for this again. Naruto declared, we're doing this again in 1 week. Sakura, you're being upgraded to the same level Kakashi was at today. Sakura gave a nod. Naruto looked over at Kakashi. Kakashi, you got a water jutsu to fill a hole? Why? Naruto said to him, I think we should unwind for a while before going back. The animals will not be able to enter this clearing with the barriers still active, unless they are summoned in here. Naruto nodded and moved slightly away from them after saying, I have a few. He used jutsu to create a large hole that was roughly 3 feet deep. This one is for you and Sasuke. There will be 2 others, one for Sakura, since she's female, and one for me, since I'm going to go for a different fluid for this. He created a shadow clone. Naruto turned to his clone and said, he will take you to the place that was picked out for her, and make the hole. Once you do, bring Akane here, and have her stick with Sakura. Keep her company. Kakashi nodded, and the clone replied, sure thing, boss. Naruto heated the first one, which contained water. Kakashi went to another location with the clone. When Kakashi returned, the clone was gone. Sakura, your hot spring awaits you. Naruto gave a nod. After getting a good distance away from them, Naruto dug another hole and filled it with lava. After stripping down to his boxers, he entered. Kakashi was approached by a clone. When you said lava doesn't hurt you, you weren't kidding. Naruto, looking a bit too at ease, said, I did say lava baths were something I like. Did you doubt me? Kakashi acknowledged, yeah, at first. Now, I don't. Good idea making the wall for Sakura. I can't even see any spots to look in there. Aside from the door, which can only be opened from the inside or by me alone, you won't be able to get in there. What's more is, it won't hinder the air, so she's good. Naruto replied. There are no ways to peek at her like that. Or Akane for that matter, who is currently in there. Kakashi dismissed it with a shrug. After an hour of them acting in this manner, the others left. Kakashi declared, Naruto, we're leaving. You guys can go on ahead. I'll be here for another few hours, said Naruto. Akane, I don't think I need to tell you why. You know how I get with lava baths. She acknowledged, yeah, I know. Just be back home by 9 o'clock. They all departed as Naruto eased into the lava, saying, will do. He was just a few seconds late, but he returned on schedule. Somewhere, on a lake, a woman with red hair was sitting and meditating. Even though she was only dressed in a kimono, her figure was still visible. A plump man wearing a black robe, sunglasses, 2 antennae, and blue skin approached the lake. The blue man said, excuse me, miss. She opened her eyes, stood up, and approached him. What is it? Inquired the woman. The man questioned, you wouldn't happen to be Kushina Uzumaki, would you? The woman answered, that I am. I've been hearing rumors of someone going down to Earth sometime soon. Your name, along with the name Naruto Uzumaki, came up several times. I was wondering if you knew about this. I do, and it has been confirmed. However, I still have to wait a while for it to happen. I've got about 1 month there before I am allowed to go back. It's full life, not one day like most. Some guy called Shenron told me this. Kushina replied. Naruto happens to be my son. Then your son already knows of me. One of my past students has been taking care of him as a father. I'll put it to you this way. The village he lives in is filled with idiots. At least he manages to liven things up. The man laughed. What did he manage to do? Kushina nodded and asked, are you familiar with the Hyuga clan? He elaborated, saying, well, here's one thing I saw him do. Kushina gave him a long look. They both burst out laughing. She became calm enough to say, oh, that is rich, more normally. He did something good with his life, though not what I expected. At least he got the stuck-up bastards, who have little to no idea of how to treat family. I'm gonna have to agree with you there. I haven't seen family treated that badly in several millennia. He responded, he didn't even get in trouble for it, either. No one caught him in an orange jumpsuit, in broad daylight. Kushina questioned, okay, how the hell does he pull that off? The man turned around and said, ask him when you get there, instead of asking me. He left, and she resumed her meditation on the lake. I hope you find happiness with him again. My son, I'll find you. I will find you and protect you whether or not you accept me as your mother. As part of their routine killing intent training, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura were in the Forest of Death. Kakashi has advanced to the 5th Tales of Yuki, while Sakura was able to complete the 4th. After 2 sessions, Sasuke was able to do otherwise. Unconsciously, his Sharingan came to life. As a result, it was much simpler to overcome. He actually accomplished something that the others were unable to. He made his own weapon out of the ki. He demonstrated this by using a jutsu while under its influence, and it came out 3 times as strong as usual. Since it was the 4th session, it was the final one for some time. Now, they had been working on it for just about a month. Naruto released everyone with the words, okay, guys. Here's the final judgment. Kakashi, your experience in a war helped you progress faster than the others. You have already tasted it, and even stood up to the Kyuubi no Yoko herself. You were good before all of this. He looked at Sakura. Sakura, you had little to no experience with anything of the like, yet you progressed extremely fast. Especially for one as innocent as you. However, you pushed past it, and managed to get past any thoughts plaguing your mind. Then he looked at Sasuke. Sasuke, you're another case altogether. It's one thing to feel killing intent, and another concept to emit it. However, you have managed neither of these. Sakura was taken aback by this. The goal of this was to get you used to an opponent's killing intent. After you awakened the Sharingan, something different happened with you. You didn't push past it. Instead, you harnessed it. You are the first in several centuries that has been able to do this. Not even Goku has been able to do that. You can use that to your advantage, should your opponent try to psyche you out. Sasuke appeared arrogant. Naruto cautioned him, don't get too cocky, Sasuke. You may be able to harness it, but there is still the chance they could overload you with it, and thereby making you too dangerous to be around, or worse. Turning an opponent's killing intent into your own weapon is a useful skill. However, you need to learn to control it after you harness it. That is where you lack currently. Sasuke questioned, what good will that do? If you had no control over fire, and you tried to use a powerful fire jutsu, what would happen? Replied Naruto. After giving it some thought, Sasuke shrugged. It would backfire, and you'd hurt yourself more than your intended target. Meaning if you can't control something, you'll end up doing something you don't want to do, Kakashi said. Finally, Naruto said, exactly. For a moment, Sasuke was taken aback by Naruto. Is that why you're so powerful? In response, Naruto said, yes and no, yes in the fact that I can control it. No, in the fact that control is only a part of it. Sakura questioned, then what's the other part of it? Extreme training. Things that would even kill Kakashi in moderation. All at the age of 6. If not for the fact I heal extremely fast, and after every near-death experience my strength nearly doubles, then I wouldn't be anywhere near as strong as I am now. I have several gifts, none of which are completely able to be controlled. One of them happens to be sentient, so controlling that one is out of the question. The rest I have some control over. Training myself into the ground every day, that pushed me a lot farther than I have gone here. Sakura and Sasuke gave this a nod. Kakashi wasn't convinced. How would you do that? Kakashi. Sensei, this is something that you should already know. The regeneration has to deal with an S-class secret, so I can't reveal anything there. He went on. In regards to the getting stronger after healing from an injury, that happens to be in my blood, and that same trait happens to give me my tail. Naruto was wriggling his tail. It's because of those two facts that I got that much stronger. However, if I didn't learn to control my newfound strength, it would be useless. Each of them gave a nod. Aside from Sasuke, your training with killing intent is over for the time being. Why only me? Because as I said, you need to learn to control what you can do. They've already gotten to the point that they will need to be it for a low S-rank ninja. You just need to control what you harness, and not let it control you. That's what you'll be working on from here on out. Naruto stated. Kakashi. Sensei, you're taking the reins from here with normal training, while I work with Sasuke individually with this particular ability. Naruto replied. Kakashi grinned. Well, it's good to know someone is a lot more knowledgeable than most his age. You are truly a genius. Naruto responded, not really. Considering the fact I've been an orphan for some time, I wouldn't be this good without my guardians. They taught me most of this stuff. Kakashi gave a nod. Alright, tomorrow we're going to try for a C rank. See what happens, Kakashi responded. The following day in the mission briefing room was Team 7. Lord Hokage, I believe my team is ready for a C rank, Kakashi replied. Iruka shot out, Kakashi, you must be joking. Your team has only a month of experience. They can't possibly be ready for a C rank. Sarutobi said, Iruka, Kakashi, what led to this decision? Several factors, including one that I believe may give them a bit more experience regarding real-time application of something they've been going through. Kakashi said. They'll need a somewhat safe outlet for it, so I believe a C rank is in order. Sarutobi considered it. Very well. I will give you a low C rank mission. There is someone that could use some protecting. One that would seem appropriate. Naruto questioned, who is it, Lord Hokage? Send him in. A man who appeared to be intoxicated entered. What, they're sending kids nowadays. What's with the blondie, though? He couldn't possibly be fast enough to move with those. Naruto appeared behind him, interrupting him. I can move plenty fast, thank you very much. We happen to be one of the best teams you can get. I happen to be more powerful than the leader of our village. The only reason I'm so low in rank is because of rules and laws. Otherwise I would have been Hokage years ago, if not for a lack of leading experience. After turning around, the man leapt back. How did you get back there? Naruto put it thus way. Simple. I walked. without a sound and beyond the normal capabilities of the human eye, of course. Hey Sasuke? With his Sharingan active, Sasuke answered, no, I still can't keep up, not even with Sharingan. And the Sharingan is said to be able to not only analyze one's opponent, but able to see things that are moving up to thrice as fast as usual. 4 times as fast when fully matured. What does that tell you? Naruto went on. The man merely gave a nod. Then at least I know you're capable. My name is Tazuna, and I'm a bridge builder from Wave Country. I need you to get me back safely, so I can finish it. Kakashi instructed his team, meet at the North Gate in 1 hour. I'll see you then. Tazuna, you should stick with me until then. Half an hour later, beside the gate, Naruto was reading a book. Hello, youngster. I have some updates for you. Naruto turned to listen to what King Kai's voice stated. King Kai. What's up? I recently learned that your mother will be brought back to life in 3 days. From what I've heard, it seems like she will wind up in Wave Country. And by the looks of things, I'll be reaching Wave Country about that time, anyway. The village's first mission. Naruto sighed, yeah, can you tell me if something's going on over in Wave Country? Something tells me this mission is beyond the scope of a C rank. Alright, wait a moment. 2 minutes later, King Kai spoke once more. That place has a lot of problems, kid. How bad? Have you heard of Frieza from Goku? Yeah. On a smaller scale, that awful. It appears to be caused by a wealthy man named Gato, and it is exclusive to that nation. Actually, a few years ago, a man from that same nation stopped by. Did you find out anything from him? Everything in the country seems to have been purchased by this Gato guy. He is wealthy enough to rival the Hyuga clan. Ouch. Looks like I was right. This mission goes far beyond our scope. Naruto took a breath. That's good for us. It means we can truly put our skills to the test. I wish you luck, child. Not that you'll require it. When Naruto saw Sasuke and Sakura, he leapt off in his burnt orange jumpsuit with the power pole on his back and said, I won't. But my team will. Hey guys, no matter what happens, we should continue with the mission. Sakura inquired, you learn that something negative is going to occur? Naruto answered, more like has happened. Wave Country is basically under siege by some rich guy. The way I see it, Tazuna is the final lifeline of his country right now. We should help out regardless of the dangers involved. Sakura and Sasuke both nodded. Thanks for letting us know. Any advice? Be careful of mist and water jutsu. Use all of your senses, not just your eyes. If you can't see them, smell them or hear them, listen to the wind instead. That will point you in the right direction. I've been working on a sensory jutsu that allows me to see through the ground. It'll help. Sakura acknowledged. It will, unless our opponent is walking on the water. Then it's useless to use that. Naruto took a breath. Can you tell if something is a clone with that jutsu? I think so. Why? As he turned to face the monument, Naruto remained silent. See if there's a clone of me on top of the Hokage monument. Sandame's head. Sakura gave a nod and followed suit. Found out without any hand signs. She paused and said, yeah. It seems to be made of lava, though. Wait, lava? Lava clone. I just made it, and that's where I put it. Nice huh? Replied Naruto. That will come in handy, water walking or not, as long as we stay on the shore. Although, I'll stick to the wind. That's my department. Sakura and Sasuke both nodded. They waited a little while longer. Tazuna was with Kakashi, who was barely 5 minutes late. Kakashi stated, okay team. Let's move out. Before we do, I have to talk to Tazuna about something in private. Naruto replied. They moved behind a tree and said, over here. Okay, I know this mission is far beyond the capabilities of normal genin. Just know that no matter what happens, I'm going on. My teammates are vaguely aware of the situation, and they agree. How did you learn of it? Tazuna inquired, a little taken aback. Naruto answered, I've got friends. Gato is not going to be a threat after this mission. Besides, I think this is perfect for us. We need some real-time experience, and this will help. Are you sure about this? I mean, shouldn't you tell your Hokage? If I did, he'd immediately up the rank, and take us off the mission. I have a feeling you wouldn't be able to afford it, and that's why you lied about it. Am I right? Naruto responded with a wink. Then we're in an agreement. Tazuna gave a nod of gratitude. When they were ready, they nodded to Kakashi and walked back. The ninja saw the puddle around half an hour after they had left and had an idea. Kakashi suspected that there was a problem with the mission. Sakura, Sasuke, and Naruto all thought the same thing. However, Naruto said, it starts when they attack. But they're terrible at genjutsu. When Kakashi let his guard down, two individuals emerged from the puddle and tore him to pieces. As they rushed the bridge constructor, one of them exclaimed, "One down." Something was thrown at them by Sakura. It had the appearance of a red rubber ball. It detonated as they attempted to avoid it, sending them flying in various directions before the chain brought them back together. Sasuke pinned the chain to a tree after dragging a shuriken and a kunai. Before they could break free from the chain, Naruto called forth a shadow clone and punched them both in the direction of the tree. Naruto remarked, "Nice job, Sakura. New toy? More like old toy. The thing wasn't just an incendiary, you know," responded Sakura. "It had some of the multi-purpose gas in it." At that, Naruto arched an eyebrow. "Okay, that was just weird." "Hey," exclaimed Sakura. They were both restrained by Naruto's clone. "I only say that because you could have gone a lot worse." Sakura shot back, "I had to use it somewhere, you know?" Naruto glanced at both of them and said, "True. Demon brothers. Well, this is surprising." Kakashi emerged from the bush. This startled Tazuna a little. "Tazuna, these two are far above the level my students should be capable of." "I'm sorry for deceiving you, but," Naruto said, "Kakashi. Sensei, let it go. I've known about the situation in Wave. They have it bad, and his bridge is the last lifeline of the entire country. Sasuke and Sakura have already agreed that we will continue the mission regardless of what happens. This mission has gone off the scope. You do realize that, right? I've known it was beyond the capabilities of the average genin. But remember what I said before we began with my training," replied Naruto. Then Kakashi recalled, "You knew this would happen, didn't you? I've learned to trust my gut with things, and found out the situation in Wave. They need help, and we're the ones to do it. I'll have to send for back. Up then." Naruto remarked, "No need. The backup is already here. I think it's time you find out where my guardians go when no one can find them." He signed his name. It was Shadow Clone Jutsu. Goku. Akane. Two plumes of smoke appeared. Everyone was shocked when Akane and Goku both showed up. Kakashi was looking at them intently. "Okay, what just happened?" "I basically summoned them from my mindscape, by giving them a shadow clone for a body. It's a lot more sturdy, and it's more like a real body, that will only dispel when killed like they would normally. They dispel, or I dispel them. Then they basically return to my mind. That's why they've been my guardians since before I knew of them. They were helping me all my life from behind the scenes until I was 5. The knowledge stunned Sasuke, Kakashi, and Tazuna. Sakura was slightly surprised but not shocked. "I can't say I'm not surprised, but I kind of expected something like that. Just not to that extent," said Sakura. They all nodded as they gave her a look. Naruto said, "Okay, let's go on. However, the positioning will change to accommodate the change in lineup. Goku and I will cover from above." Goku gave a nod. "Kakashi, you've got the back right side. Sakura the back left. Sasuke, you take point. This is a delta formation." All of them nodded. Raising an eyebrow, Akane questioned, "What about me?" Naruto answered, "Stealth and hidden backup. Your job is basically to stay hidden and aid us from the rear if needed." Kakashi said, "Nice plans. How do you know they will work? As far as I know, no ninja can fly. You obviously didn't take into account my entire skill set. I don't just have chakra. I've got ki, as well. With that, I can fly. Goku is the one that taught me how to fly, so what does that tell you?" replied Naruto. Kakashi let out a sigh. "How long can you stay airborne?" Naruto answered, "A few days, probably. I'd fall if I fell asleep, though." Goku answered, "I used to meditate while airborne. I'm good. Why?" According to Kakashi, "Just checking, we're moving on." They all nodded, "Right." Sasuke, Sakura, and Kakashi moved into position while Goku, Naruto, and Akane vanished. 3 days later, a little boat was in front of the group. The boatman responded, "I won't be able to take all of you." According to Kakashi, "Don't worry. Sasuke, Sakura, you two stick to the boat, Akane." Kakashi nodded when Akane stated, "I'm scouting ahead with water walking." Goku nodded in agreement as Naruto informed him, "We're sticking to the skies." Kakashi replied, "All right, then, I'll be in the boat as well." Akane had left already. Nodding, Goku and Naruto leapt to their feet without lowering themselves. There was something strange about the mist, Sakura thought. "Kakashi. Sensei. There's something strange about this mist." After paying attention to the statement, Sasuke turned on his Sharingan. Chakra's faint trace. Not even the Sharingan could see it. She right. It's not natural. Clever. Kakashi gave that a nod. Make sure you're ready for anything. They approached and crossed the bridge. However, nobody spoke up. Then they touched down on the shore. This is as far as I go, Tazuna. According to Tazuna, thank you. The man answered, thanks, get the bridge done. That will be enough. Naruto and Goku had already arrived. Naruto remarked, about time you guys made it. Each of them gave a nod. He nodded when Goku remarked, Tazuna, we should move. Now. Aside from Akane, Goku sensed 3 other people around. They all sensed intent to kill. Sasuke began sketching from it and was able to identify it. Then Naruto shouted. The words, everyone, get down, were not repeated to them, while the others dove. Kakashi pulled Tazuna to the ground. Knowing they were okay, Akane continued to observe. A man landed on a gigantic sword that had stuck itself in a tree. The man laughed and said, I see why the demon brothers lost. Sharingan no Kakashi. With hatred in his voice, Kakashi muttered, Zabuza Momochi. Naruto went on, X. Member of the Kirigakure's 7 swordsmen. Wields the head cleaver, and master of the silent killing technique. Nicknamed the Demon of the Hidden Mist, due to several targets slaughtered, and a little event that caused the end of the Bloody Mist graduation exam. Kakashi gazed at him intently. How did you know that? I read a few bingo books. He was in a few of the more recent ones. I also saw your name in there, Kakashi. Sensei. I figured you'd be a good choice for us when I heard about your reputation, regardless of the tardiness regarding unimportant things in your mind. Naruto said. Kakashi Hitaki. The one who copied 1000 jutsu. I just hope there are some dust jutsu in that list. Kakashi reached for his headband and remarked, there are, but we'll work on that later. He opened the eye after pulling it up. His Sharingan was fully grown up. He thought of only one thing. This is our time, Obito. The power pole was drawn by Naruto. Kakashi. Sensei, I'd like to take a whack at him. See if my Bojutsu is good enough. In response, Kakashi said, why not, I'll watch out for Tazuna. He gestured, like you could beat me. Ninpo. Hidden Mist Jutsu. As the mist grew thicker, visibility was lost. Neither Naruto nor the others faltered, this is gonna be fun. Naruto remained motionless. Then he heard Tazuna say something. Power pole extend. Zabuza turned into water when the staff struck him in the chest. The pole had returned to its initial length. You'll have to try better than that, Zabuza. There was Zabuza's voice everywhere. Alright, kid. What gives? You didn't even move. Naruto grinned. Naruto remarked, nice trick with your voice. Too bad, your pathetic dose of killing intent is useless. I've seen worse. Oh really? Without using the chakra, Naruto then sent his killing intent to 4 tails, saying, and I've done worse. Nobody saw that Zabuza was perspiring. A clone suddenly charged him, saying, kid, you're playing a dangerous game. When I'd be glad to finish. A medal. On. Metal Clang interrupted Naruto as he was ready to defend. Hold on a minute. It's not Akane. Her chakra is not this one. Then, who is it? Naruto became uncomfortable at hearing the statement, no one hurts my son. It was clearly a woman. Akane, who was going to step in, and Kakashi both recognized it until they heard it. Naruto held up his arm, palm facing up, and stated, thanks for the help, but I didn't need it. The mist began to dissipate as the wind picked up. This is something I came up with. You might want to move. Kushina Uzumaki. Fuden. Wind Shuriken. He then hurled a wind chakra. Made Fuma Shuriken, severing the water clone that was locked in a deadlock with Kushina, and proceeded to move in Zabuza's direction, but he ducked it. Kakashi remarked, okay, that was new. He was immediately joined by Goku. Naru, did you just mimic the Destructo Disc with wind chakra? Naruto said, yeah, I did. But that's not all I've got, as you know. Goku said, Kushina, Akane, Naruto. Let's kick some butt. Right, came the call at the same time. A jutsu was Zabuza's choice. Sweden. Water Dragon Missile. He was exactly mirrored by Kushina, and they collided. Before long, Akane was on him. Kaden. Phoenix Fox Flare. He was directly hit by a fireball shaped like a phoenix. When Zabuza said, Sweden. Water Wall, he was immediately covered. Zabuza attempted to dodge the energy waves that Goku fired, but Naruto was there to greet him. Yoden. Lava Bullet. He spat forth a lava ball, and it struck the target exactly. "The hell?" exclaimed Zabuza. The power pole in Naruto's hands suddenly knocked him back, landing him at a tree's edge. With a sword in her hand, Kushina approached him. "As I said before, nobody hurts my son and lives." At that moment, Zabuza was struck by many senbon that flew in. One struck the pressure point on his left elbow, two struck his neck, and a third struck his chest. Kushina gave them a look. "You were right, he wouldn't live." Next to him was a child wearing a mask. "I got here while you were fighting him, but I did stay back because there was nothing I could do at the moment." The unknown ninja was the target of Kushina's blade. Why not? Hunter Ninja could get an opening within seconds, and still go on unhindered. "I'll admit I am still new to the Hunter Ninja business," the kid replied. "I may have a lot of skill, but the way you were facing off, there wasn't a single opening I could take advantage of without hitting any of you in the process. They closed too quickly for me to intervene." Kushina put her blade away. She glanced at Kakashi, whose headband was once more down, and said, "Then we shall leave you be." He gave a nod. They all left after saying, "Let's move on. Let him take care of his job." Then, in a shunshin, the ninja and Zabuza departed the area. An hour later, at Tazuna's apartment on a room's floor, everyone was seated in a circle. Kakashi was looking at Kushina, attempting to figure out what was going on. It was too quiet. Naruto made the decision to shatter it. "So, you really are my mother, huh?" Kushina nodded after glancing at him. "You may think I abandoned you, but..." As Naruto put it, "That's not it. I'm just surprised you're here after dying. Then again, it could be worse." "What do you mean?" inquired Kakashi. "As far as I know, you've never known about your parents." Naruto had an idea. "I've known since I was 5. Did you sign with the lava monkeys?" With a look of amazement, Kushina inquired, "You already know about them?" Naruto questioned, "Know about them? I've already signed. I did so right after taking out a fresh rogue. He was locked up, but as far as I know, he's still alive. And he can't have any children." Akane remarked, "I made sure of that, Kushina. I know it's really you, because only you could have that chakra in you." Kushina said, "I didn't think I'd still have it, since I was dead. I guess it helps that you were sealed in me, isn't it? You know my chakra better than anyone. And yes, Naruto, I did." Sakura and Sasuke merely gazed at her. "What do you mean?" Kushina stated, "I died for 2 reasons. She then raised her hands to count them. One was because she was removed. She had been sealed in me since my birth. The other reason is because I had very little chakra after the birth to make sure she didn't hurt anyone she didn't want to hurt. My husband, though kept secret, was able to seal her into my son. His son." She glanced at Naruto. "And the fact that he looks like his father. I can't say a lot of people would like him for that alone. They didn't like me for being Akane's jailer. I gave her some freedom by letting her use a shadow clone. No one knows who she really is except the old man Hokage and Ayame." Sakura said, "Wait. Ayame knows? Why her? Ayame is one of the few that never thought I was her. I kind of shut Mizuki up with my tail, since he did think I was her. And he wanted to kill me. She actually did want to kill him. She didn't. If that were the case, then why should I?" Goku remarked, "Because people like him won't change. If you ask me, you did the right thing by letting him live, but it could come back to bite you in the ass." Frieza did the same thing. "I'm not sure if it's a bad thing that very few actually care for you, because those few are hard for him to take out to get back at you." Kakashi had a menacing look at Akane. "Why are you outside the seal? If that were the case, Naruto should be dead." Akane said, "He's not, because, in a way, I'm not. This may be his shadow clone, but it has none of his chakra in it. It's all mine. I'm basically here, and still I'm in there. The one in there just so happens to be unconscious while I'm out here. It's a loophole in the seal that we found, and make excellent use of." Despite looking at her, Kushina continued to nod. "The way it was put allowed your Yuki to mix with his chakra. As such, he could use your chakra to make a single shadow clone, and send your consciousness into it, allowing you to use it as your own. Very clever. It shows you're a kitsune." Akane said, "Actually, it was his idea. I swear, he picked up more than your fiery temper and stubbornness. He also got your chakra, and your way of thinking. He also has his father's way of learning jutsu in record time." With that, Kushina laughed. She glanced at him and said, "True. He was a genius in more ways than one. I would have thought you'd go for a sword though." Naruto stated, "The power pole was once Goku's. He said he was going to consider me his own son, so he gave it to me, along with his family heirloom." Goku stated, "It's still at the lookout. He has no intentions of bringing it into the village. I actually agree with his reasons, though. They'd think he stole it from somewhere, and then take it, only to sell to someone else. Kushina went on to say, civilians are too ignorant for their own good. I think I could knock them down a few pegs when we get back. Each of them gave a nod. A boy entered. Hey grandpa, who are they? They're the ones who got me home without a scratch, no matter the odds against them. Tazuna stated to him. Inari, if I were you, I'd definitely respect the blonde-haired one. The child, Inari, answered, why? They're just going to die if they go against Gato. Because that one has done things not even your father could have done. If my guess is right, he's better than Kaiza. From what I know of Kaiza, he's courageous. Always has been. He went out with no regrets, stated Kushina. Inari yelled, what do you know about him? I was dead until a few hours ago. I ended up nearby, and then helped Tazuna get back. Kaiza already gave me the information on Gato. I know full well what we're up against, and against all of us, his mercenaries don't stand a chance. This is considering the fact we've got 3 people here that can destroy planets with relative ease. Kakashi's gaze widened. Akane's eyes furrowed, and Naruto sent her a look, along with someone that could easily cause a tsunami with a flick of her wrist. Kakashi closed his eye and said, then we've got an A-class ninja, who has been through war, and suffered heavy losses. Out of all of us, Sasuke and Sakura are the weakest here, and they can handle about 40 normal bandits that can't use chakra. 10 if the bandits do. Throughout all of that, Kushina glared at Inari, silencing him. If I say anything specific on any of them, then you would either pass out, piss yourself and then pass out, or probably do even worse. The latter will not apply to Sasuke or Sakura, but the others here, we all apply. Inari swallowed. He didn't want to consider it at all. Then he did something that nobody had anticipated. Inari pointed to Naruto and questioned, what did he do? Me? Inquired Naruto. I've killed maybe 80-something shit stains to protect our village, and wasn't affected in the slightest, due to a quote that I once heard from Akane. Goku even agreed with it. It startled Inari. I don't want to talk about how many I've killed, because you'd either think I was lying, or you'd want to kill yourself so I couldn't, so I'm not going there, Akane said. Tazuna was shocked at how composed she was about it. The only kills I made were necessary to protect what I care about. That is life, and to do so, some had to die. Oh, and by the way, I really did destroy a few planets. The fact that the one who was trying to kill everyone, and those he didn't were turned into mind slaves, I managed to reverse what he did. Get them all out of there, kill the guy, restore the planet they were from, and get rid of what shouldn't have been there in the first place. Said place being the planet that he had them moved to before I could stop him. In the end, only one life was lost, and that was him. Another got absorbed into his other half, so no one can count that as a death. Everyone else got out without a scratch, Goku stated. Right now, the only people in a 300-mile radius that could do any of that are in this room, stated Naruto. And I'm one of them. I'm actually weaker than Goku or Akane, but I'm closing in on Akane fast. Goku's still a step above her. Several steps actually, but I could still destroy the planet if I wanted to. Actually, Naruto, Akane isn't the other one that has you beat, Kushina replied. I may have been dead, but I never stopped training. However, it wasn't chakra I was training with. Goku's gaze expanded. You learned about ki? In response, Kushina said, yes. And it was from an old friend of yours, Goku. His name was Pikkon, I think. Goku said, oh crap, he taught you about ki? That is not good. Why not? Goku said, receiving a nod, did he teach you his Thunderflash attack? Don't use it in a real fight. I has one major flaw in it. Kushina said, I noticed, and I corrected that flaw for my own use. Basically, I draw on both chakra and ki and use it like that. The opening for it is gone, and it's a straightforward assault. As a result, Goku appeared perplexed before going Super Saiyan. I'd like to test out how well he taught you. Naruto, you mind if I borrow the power pole? I think we can allow weapons and ki, but no jutsu. Those that originally used ki, such as Destructo Disc, are not considered jutsu. As long as ki is the only energy involved in the original making, meaning the Thunderflash attack is allowed, then it may be used. No originally chakra-based techniques, which is what we call jutsu. Elemental jutsu is something that only uses chakra, usually. After giving him a nod, Naruto gave him the item. I think the fight would be better suited elsewhere, though. Think you can get us as far away from the elemental nations as possible? Inquired the man. I've got a few ideas. In fact, planet Yardrat was said to be abandoned a long time ago, so there will be no innocent people getting in the way, and then hurt because of it. Akane remarked, "Don't tell me you're going all out. If I have to, I'll be going level 3. Otherwise, level 2 is the highest I plan on going." Goku responded, "Level 4 is overkill, no matter the circumstances. And now you see why he has me beat. I've only reached level 1. I haven't gotten strong enough for level 2, and I found a way to hide from chakra sensors. Goku, Akane, myself, and apparently my mother, can do so." "Why is that?" Kakashi inquired, utterly taken aback. Akane said, "Ki. If ninja sensors could detect ki levels, then they would pass out after coming within 5 miles of Naruto. How do you think he managed to get into the Hyuga clan estates without being noticed once? It's not just because of his information on it. The ki itself is masking the chakra, and the Byakugan only traces the chakra. If they can't find the chakra, they can't see it. Major flaw of the Byakugan. If I learn ki, would that make me better than before?" Naruto received a frown when he responded, "No, Sasuke. You won't be learning ki. You've already got something else to draw on. Killing intent. Once you have that mastered, you can handle the bigger threats. A lot of ninja unintentionally leak killing intent, especially the more powerful ones. All of them but one can draw on up to 5 tails worth. You've gotten to 4 tails, and can use it in your jutsu. You don't need ki, and your body isn't likely to be able to use it until years from now." A little perplexed, Kushina questioned, "How can he draw on killing intent for jutsu? I mean, the worst it's ever used for is illusions that show the target's death. I trained them to resist and eventually become immune to high levels of killing intent through a special seal of the Uzumaki clan, which I figure you should know about," said Naruto. "Which one? I can't place it as a training seal, or something like that." Kushina responded. Naruto answered, "The chakra-holding seal." Kushina's mouth was open to speak, but she closed it, instructing him to go on without saying anything. "Before you say anything about it not being able to do that, then think again. I managed to draw on the killing intent and bloodlust of Akane's chakra without pulling on the chakra itself. After that, I sealed them both but without the chakra in a certain level. Basically, I sealed the side effects of the chakra without the chakra itself, and it still took it." With a hint of astonishment, Kushina remarked, "Huh, I never thought of that. You're really smarter than most. I would have gone for an IQ test a while back, but no one would have gone for it," responded Akane. Kushina glanced at her and said, "Besides, it's not his usual brain that came up with that." "Then what was it?" Sakura and Kakashi's eyebrows widened as Akane responded, his prankster side, or I in the case of Kakashi. "What's more is, in the village, there is a trio of pranksters that top the Sannin in their respective specialties. Tsunade with her medical jutsu, Jiraiya with sealing, and Orochimaru with his kenjutsu. In fact, last time I saw you, he had you outclassed in pranking by 4 times the skill. This was when we left the village." Sakura's smile came on abruptly, and Sasuke noticed it right away. "Sakura, what are you planning?" Sakura calmly said, "Nothing yet." However, Naruto noticed her glance at him. Naruto questioned, "You really want to tell her? I mean, considering the fact that at least 90% of those events were completely unsolved, with no suspects, due to no evidence whatsoever, I think you'd want to be a bit more secret for a while longer." Kushina looked at her kid and remarked, "I think we all would like to know. Tell me or you will regret it," was visible in the look. Naruto deadpanned, "Okay then. Kakashi. Sensei, how many incidents fall under that category?" "Over 600. No one in the Anbu could make heads or tails of them. A lot of people suspected you, but no one could prove it, with no evidence being at the scene," Kakashi stated. Naruto answered, "Huh. A lot less than I thought. How many of them went cold?" "All 1,633 of them. Those are the only ones that were still being inspected for any clues whatsoever," said Kakashi. "And this does not include the 644 that were still being investigated when I became your sensei." The same sneer appeared on the faces of Akane, Sakura, and Naruto. Akane remarked, "I did 921 out of all of them." Adding, Sakura said, "I did maybe 210. In conclusion," Naruto said, "the rest was me." Then Sasuke turned to Kushina. "And now you know why I get scared when any one of them gets that grin on them. And if all 3 of them give the same person that grin after they do something," he said. According to Kushina, "Let me guess." With a chilly sweat, Sasuke nodded, "They'll wish they had died. My son's a natural prankster. Why am I not surprised?" Akane. After giving it some thought, Kushina nodded and said, No, I didn't teach him anything. I think it's because of you, Minato, and me, though. No one else knew it, but Minato and I were the prank king and queen of Konohagakure. Anyone tried pulling a prank, we got them in one, and they never see it coming. He had just become Hokage when they stopped altogether. To this day, no one has known about it. And being your son, realized Kakashi, he inherited that trait from both of you. And being around a kitsune, who happened to have the best pranksters in the demon realms, even better than Yoko, he's bound to have the best skills, whether I teach him or not, Akane said. Kakashi gave her a cautious look. They're the same thing, aren't they? Akane gave a headshake. Maybe in human perspective they are, but in actuality, they aren't. Kitsune are a lot more playful, while Yoko are a lot more rotten and willingly corrupted. My kitsune form is what I tend to go into, but if something gets me pissed off enough, that form is more of a Yoko than a kitsune. I'm the only kitsune that has been on both sides, and that's only because of my status being the guardian of the land of fire. For me, it all depends on my mood. Kushina inquired, did you tell him about that night? Akane nodded and said, you know, the night of his birth. Another nod. Did you tell him why it happened? How has he fared with the knowledge? Akane said, better than I thought. I have expected him to go crazy, insane, mad with the power he has, or even worse. A lot better than I thought, as he wasn't even fazed by it. Tsunami and Inari had left the room, but Tazuna remained. But he raised his voice. What exactly could have happened that would make him turn out that bad? For someone who hadn't done the things I have, or been an Uzumaki with a drive, they would have committed suicide after maybe 3 hours. If not, turned into a revenge-driven asshole, pardon my language, or worse, remarked Naruto. After a single blink, Kushina nodded. No better word to describe it? Naruto said, there is, but it's worse. He then blinked. Actually, I can think of one word to describe it better without an obscenity, but only those that have heard about what he's done would be able to make the connection. What? Inquired Kakashi. Orochimaru. The name caused Kushina, Akane, and Kakashi to squint. Sakura and Sasuke were unconcerned about it, but she figured his description was more accurate and realized it must be bad. I figure all but Sasuke and Tazuna can see the real problem behind that. Sakura probably has an idea, though. All three of them nodded. The others gave him a look. Kakashi questioned, why would it be that bad? With an expression of perplexity, Naruto questioned, are you aware of why he left the village? He left for the simple fact that what he wanted he couldn't get in the village. That is every jutsu known to man. By proxy, he'd want immortality. Driven by this, and a sick pleasure to harm his comrades, he left the one place that couldn't help him. That is Konohagakure, and by now he would want to destroy it. I'd be wary of him, if nothing else. Akane went on, and that is something I'd stop myself. The guy is an utter bastard that doesn't know the meaning of the word friendship, and doesn't care to learn about it. She stopped. Also, how many Uzumaki were good at gambling before they were, you know? The answer from Kushina was, almost everyone. In death, only one Uzumaki never won against anything other than an Uzumaki. The reason for this is because she never gambled. Mito was crazy, but she had the right idea. Ah, my first container. She never liked gambling, as back then, she didn't have the time, or patience for it. Said Akane. My memory of her is sketchy at best, though. She still remembers you, and is a little sorry about what happened to you back then. Not much choice otherwise. Same with Naru. Me, no one but myself and those I told about you in the first place felt sorry for you. Akane nodded in agreement. Then Naruto turned to face the window. Naruto, what is it? His eyes narrowed, and all eyes were on him. Zabuza. Kakashi recognized the evil tone and its underlying meaning. Kakashi questioned, that kid helped him, didn't he? Naruto answered, yes, and his heart is actually still pure. That's what gets me about the whole situation now. Why would someone as pure as that kid want to help someone like Zabuza? Goku questioned, could he have a similar situation to you? I mean, it is possible. Naruto considered it. Could be. Zabuza's likely to be a week before he can attack again, though. We're safe for the time being. Kakashi gave nod. But now he knows about you using lava and wind jutsu. He's not stupid, so he knows you should be able to use earth and fire as well. Naruto gave that a nod. He still doesn't know anything about Ki and me being able to use it, everyone replied. Kushina questioned, Akane, has he been able to access a fourth element? Not yet. Earth was awakened when he started learning lava, and he naturally had fire and wind. Fire due to me, and wind due to you. Without me or the lava monkeys, wind would be all he had. Responded Akane. Which one are you thinking about? Kakashi's visible eye narrowed as Kushina responded, I'm not sure, but I think it would be a good idea for him to learn about lightning. That is Kakashi's natural element, after all. The only reason he can still go for it is because of his Uzumaki blood. They always have the potential to unlock 4 of the 5 elements. After that, the 5th element is permanently lost to them. He's got wind, fire, and earth. That leaves water and lightning, and I know how to activate both. I didn't go for lightning, but my brother, who is also dead, told me how to, and I still know. Naruto questioned, you know how to activate water, then? A nod. Would you be able to do so for someone that isn't an Uzumaki? For Kushina, what brought this up? I'll tell you later. Besides, we have to make it back to the village before we can. Naruto said. I'll think about it, myself, then. It all depends, you know. Akane began, Naruto, you aren't seriously thinking about. Naruto said, Ayame. No, not her. I got the drop on someone that wasn't able to use chakra, and that led me to his teammate, whose cousin happens to have graduated from our class. The only one that has that kind of connection would be Lee, Neji, and then. Kakashi paused. Hinata. When we get back, someone's got to get her out of her shy state. I figure some time with me would help her out, but I almost always train. She's calm, so I figured water would be where she'd work best. Too nice to be a kunoichi, but that's her gentle heart. Kushina answered, it seems like she's a good catch. Thing is, her father is a stuck-up Hyuga, and her cousin hates her for something that wasn't entirely her fault, said Naruto. Akane remarked, I remember hearing about this. I'll tell you about it later, Kushina. For now, we should work out a schedule for all of this. Ignore the spar for now, and focus on the task at hand. Everyone agreed. Kakashi remarked, you two will have to up your skills. The fact of the matter is, regardless of you both being Chunin level, you both lack the skills required for your level. Naruto, you'd be best training under Kushina. I know that you all have a lot of chakra control, so there's no problem there. You're already far beyond what you should be. Each of them gave a nod. Sakura answered, walking on water helps a lot. For me, being a Super Saiyan for a month straight helped out a lot. The only reason I left that state is because I thought it was good, but I still went for it again a week later. No one noticed when I went there either. That's when I found out that you can mask your chakra using ki. Replied Naruto. Using chakra like that was strange, but I got it down. Super Saiyan or not, I can walk on water, and do my morning stretches without using ki. Not to mention he's handled 4 tails of Mayuki with ease a few days before that same month, and he didn't lose a shred of himself. Akane acknowledged. He's able to control up to 7 tails with little problem. 8 tails. That's when the problem comes. 4 tails and he can come at me for 3 hours, combining it with Super Saiyan, and this is at 6 years old, almost 7. Naruto acknowledged that, I remember that. Not once did I lose any rational thought. Okay, I lost one. Attacking a Kyuubi level demon at Yanbi level. Normally that's a suicide attempt. Everyone, including Sasuke, nodded. Since they were on his side, Tazuna didn't really care that he didn't know anything about it. Kushina, Goku, and Akane nodded before heading toward the roof. Sakura and Kakashi slept, while Naruto and Sasuke meditated. The following day, with a number of fish in their hands, Goku and Kushina entered through the front door. Naruto was awake already. Even yet, Sakura was aware that it was just 7 a.m. A few minutes after they entered, Kakashi stood up. When Kushina entered, she noticed that Naruto had just entered and had been training for some time. Hey mom. Kushina said, hey yourself, sweetie. You up for some trout? A few seconds later, Naruto caught a couple trout and said, just pass it over, I'll take it from there. After removing a kunai, Naruto neatly chopped off the head and threw the remainder aloft. A lot of sushi fell, landing on a plate in his left palm, while his right arm, which held the kunai, turned into a blur to the unaided sight. Sushi anyone? Sakura caught his attention by saying, do that again. This time, without the kunai. That made Naruto grin. Prior to Naruto holding another trout, Kushina was dubious. After putting wind chakra to his palm, which made it like a blade, he followed suit. Then, without blurring his arm, he threw the fish up. No, only Kushina and Goku were aware of the wind chakra's movement. At this point, Akane awoke and turned to face the kitchen, where she saw a fish being sliced into bits too fast to notice and chakra flying everywhere. It didn't take her long to figure out that Naruto was making sushi with wind chakra. Once more. She attracted the attention of others who were awake by saying, "At least he can go for different types of sushi with different species of fish." All of the sushi was still caught by Naruto. As soon as all the pieces were cut, he said, "Morning Akane," without looking at her. "Why are you making sushi again?" "Hey, it's fun, and I get to practice my precision. Wind chakra or kanai," said Naruto. "Make training out of the most menial tasks, am I right?" Akane gave a nod. She and Goku had discussed that very topic long ago, prior to Naruto's transformation into a ninja. Akane looked at each piece and said, "Well, let's see how you did. Very precise. Wait, is that what I think it is?" Naruto responded, "You know it." Her expression changed to one of hunger. "I don't like the look on your face right now." Naruto let out an audible sigh of relief as Akane responded, "Not for you. I'll separate those kinds from the others. Only a few have them from the first batch, and none from the second." "Thanks." At this time, Akane was ecstatic. She gobbled them up as soon as he pointed them out to her. "Those are always so good." Kushina questioned, "Do I even want to know?" Naruto answered, "No, I don't think you do." As they left, she answered, "Then I won't ask. Goku, you'll be watching over Tazuna at the bridge. I'll work with Naruto in training his fourth element, and it would be his choice on which one. Either way he goes, he will be able to have training with it. Kakashi, in the morning, you'll be training Sasuke and Sakura. In the afternoon, Naruto will be working with Sasuke, as will Akane. Throughout the day, you'll be watching over Tazuna's family. Given Gato's record, I wouldn't put it past him to set up a two-layer trap, one with some hire to distract us, and the other to attack the family." Everybody nods. The instant Naruto and Akane developed smirks, Sasuke too developed a grin. "You planning on something humiliating if they do?" They both responded simultaneously, "Yes." Kushina remarked, "Then I'll leave you both to it. Make sure they know of it, though. Don't want them getting caught up in it." Naruto gave a nod. Akane did nothing, but Kushina nodded, understanding the expression on her face. They all trained and went their separate ways. Goku was assisting with an incomplete bridge. None of the other pieces could believe the strength he displayed. Upon placing a piece, Goku received another piece while the other workers began to pound away. A few employees were confused when Goku dove into the water during lunch. When he returned, he displayed the 6-foot fish. One of them said, "That's one high-quality fish." "Really? This is one of the smaller ones I've caught." Goku responded. He threw it up, confusing most, and aimed a ki blast at it, saying, "Anyway, time to cook it, Saiyan style." It was perfectly cooked in an instant. The taste caught the staff off guard. Tazuna gave him a look. "I know you've been helping us out, but I thought you'd only be guarding." Goku gave a shrug. "I'm doing both. Some low-class thugs show up, I can toss the piece up, knock them out, and catch it. No sweat. No one has been coming around here, and Zabuza is still weakened. At the current rate, he wouldn't be able to attack for 5 days or so. Tazuna, I'm not sure why you're trusting him. Sure he's strong, but I can't help but think we're prolonging the inevitable." A worker responded. Goku stated, "Nothing is completely inevitable. Even death can be stopped. I should know, having died twice." "Wait. Twice?" inquired Tazuna. "Isn't that far-fetched? Consider this. I can fly, and can destroy planets with ease. Do you really think death can stop someone like that?" Goku responded. He looked toward the woods. "In all honesty, right now, I'm supposed to be dead. The last time I ever saw my wife was nearly 6,000 years ago. My sons, granddaughter, heck even a friend that tried to kill me on more than one occasion, due to his pride being insulted. This discovery shocked the employees. I've always proved the impossible possible. A low-class Saiyan beating out the elite? Thought impossible. I've done it several times over. Naruto's the same way. He specializes in the impossible, as do I. Try a 14 or 15-year-old kid, with nothing but a staff that can extend to virtually any length, taking on extreme numbers, and not get a scratch. I was that kid. I was outnumbered, outgunned, and no back up nearby. I was literally on my own. I was done with it all after 20 to 30 minutes. Another 5 minutes. A few friends of mine were coming up as I was leaving. They never thought I could do all that, yet I did. That's impossible." Goku said to the employee. "Impossible is just a word, my friend. If it were impossible, then how come I lived to see the next 8 years or so, get married, and have a kid?" The employees were unable to respond to that. They consumed the entire fish. I rest my case. Well, let's get back to work. Forest's Kushina and Naruto were in a clearing. They exchanged glances. "All right, Naruto. I hope you've chosen your fourth element, as we start unlocking it today. I was thinking water, for balance, but then I remembered Goku saying that lightning tends to circle a Super Saiyan which they reach the second level. After everything, lightning is what I decided to go for, replied Naruto. Kushina gave a nod. He was instantly paralyzed when she placed a hand on his shoulder. Akane hurried into the clearing. What's going on with his chakra? Akane, you can't interfere with this. He has to get rid of the paralysis himself, with only his chakra. It will also stop him from drawing on yours. Kushina clarified. Besides, aren't you supposed to watch over Dazuna's family? I know, but there are alarm seals that will alert both me and Naruto if a threat comes up to the pier. Akane responded. Say, have you talked with the lava monkeys yet? She watched as Naruto stood with his eyes closed and shook her head. I haven't tried summoning them. I'm not sure if it is possible for me to do so, since I was dead for years. Ignoring everything else, Naruto was keeping an eye on his chakra flow. It appears that the electricity passing through my coils is limiting my chakra's range of motion. Not limiting, please. Refusing. They appear to be moving in opposing directions. Hold on a second. Turn around and allow the flow to increase if it is down low. At first, I didn't understand, but now I believe I do. Allow them to merge and flow organically rather than pushing the flow. After some more time, Naruto discovered that it was simpler to keep an eye on the various flows because they were gradually merging. His chakra was fully in sync after 50 seconds, but he was still able to move fairly easily. Sweet, it still works. With some surprise, Kushina said, You adapted quickly. How did you do it? Naruto began to go into detail, saying, Oh, I was just watching the flow itself, and once I figured that out, it was pretty smooth sailing. Alright, now it's time to move on to the next step. Training it. Kushina said, Now that it's active, you won't be able to learn any jutsu from the water element that is above high C rank. Meaning B rank and higher water jutsu would be impossible for you to use. This means that some of my favorite jutsu, you can't learn. They're all high A class or S class water element. Although, there is one that I can teach you. But I'd only use it when you're up against at least 500 opponents, on your own. It's one that I wouldn't suggest using unless you know you're manned, outgunned, and out of options. It falls under a category that I lovingly call, Wide-Scale Destruction Jutsu, or WSDJ for short. Naruto questioned, You really think that I could use that effectively? I mean, it's obviously powerful, but I doubt I could use it properly. You can, and the lava monkeys know of it. The only reason I could use it myself is because of the lava element, and I was a Jinchuriki myself. Kushina replied. Akane yelled, Wait a minute, Kushina. You're not seriously thinking about teaching him that jutsu, are you? Why not? She questioned. He could definitely use it because you're sealed in him. Akane became agitated and asked, Have you forgotten the consequences of that jutsu, should he use it? Naruto questioned, Akane, why is it so bad? You want to know why she was so feared when she was utterly pissed off? Asked Akane. That same jutsu, she used it in the last Great War, and this is after the last of her team died out. She used it, and eliminated over 800 opponents at once. Your father may hold the record officially, but Kushina has topped him several times over with that jutsu. That was the only time she used it, and she had called upon 2 taels worth of Mayuki just to use it. Akane took a breath. If I were to compare it to the Kamehameha at Super Saiyan 3, it wouldn't do the jutsu justice in terms of utter annihilation. It's not even ranked on the jutsu scale, as that was the only time I used it, and no one, aside from Akane, myself and the lava monkeys know of its existence, but only the 2 of us know the full set of details for it. Kushina continued, the ultimate volcanic eruption. Okay then. We should probably hold off on that until we're in a more remote place. Don't you think? Replied Naruto. Kushina said, Point taken. She considered potential places. The only places I can think of are in Wind and Earth country. Nowhere else has enough space for it, much less the secrecy for the jutsu. Then Naruto had a thought. He turned to Kushina and said, I think I know of an area if we get a total of 5 or more days off. Did you learn how to fly in other world? Yeah, why? Akane, the hyperbolic time chamber should work, right? Replied Naruto. Akane answered, Wait a minute. You're right, that would work. That's why you asked if she could fly, isn't it? Kushina shivered as Naruto said, Bingo. He gave a thumbs up while flashing his teeth. Naruto, please tell me you didn't spend much time with Maida Guy. Only when I was 6. Good taijutsu sparring partner, if nothing else. Naruto stated to her. The two of us went all out in a training field, in front of his team a few weeks back. Taijutsu only, though. Destroyed half of it before we were done. Surprised, Kushina questioned, wait, you can hold your own with a Junin in Taijutsu? I've got the best martial artist in history teaching me Taijutsu. In addition, he taught me his, Vegeta's, and even Tien's styles. Then there's Akane's style. Mix them all up, you got my own. I didn't bother with the Uzumaki or Namikaze styles. Instead, I came up with my own. And trust me when I say, it's dangerous. Kushina said, I'd like to see it sometime, maybe in that time chamber. We'll talk about that later. For now, let's train, Naruto replied. Somewhere in the woodland Sakura and Sasuke were in front of Kakashi. Alright, now that we know of your affinities, we can begin. This made Sakura and Sasuke smile. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to help Sakura out much. I'm afraid I don't have much for your other element. In fact, I can't teach you any of it. So for now, you should work on your reserves. Sasuke, on the other hand, your other affinities, I can help out with immensely. Lightning is my specialty, after all. Sakura nodded, although she felt a little down. Well, I'm not even sure how I managed to get that third one. I thought that one was a bloodline at first. Then Kakashi said, come to think of it, so did I. Fire, I can help a little, but Sasuke would be a lot better there. Earth, I'm pretty good, but there are still others that are better. This, Kakashi stated with a covered eye, turned me into a jack of all trades in the ninjutsu category. In response, Sasuke said, no surprise there. They both nodded in agreement. Okay, so you'll help me with lightning style, and I'll teach Sakura the fundamentals of the grand fireball jutsu? Naruto and Kushina entered the room. Hey, Kakashi, sensei. Hello Naruto. You've chosen your fourth element? Yeah, I did. I chose lightning. Well, I found something highly interesting with Sakura's affinities. Kakashi replied. Earth, fire, and then, for some odd reason, lava. Then there was another piece that just expanded. Kushina questioned, what do you mean expanded? I mean, if it did that. Naruto questioned, what does that mean? Quite frankly, I don't have a clue. Kushina's voice commanded, do it, or else. Kakashi, give a piece of chakra paper to Naruto. Naruto, channel some of Akane's Yuki into it. They did so and were somewhat taken aback by the outcome. It grew. Sakura was confused when Naruto said, okay, this is not good. Why not? Inquired Sakura. Naruto gave her a pitying glance. I don't think I should tell you this. Akane would be a lot more suited to explain it than I am. Wait. You don't mean? Naruto avoided making eye contact with her. I'm sorry, but I can't say to be honest. The only thing I can say for a fact is, you're like me. Akane materialized before them. They all nodded when they heard, Tazuna has just made it home. Goku is with him. Akane, what did Naruto mean when he said I'm like him? Sakura inquired. In response, Akane's eyes grew wide. With a serious tone, Akane asked, when was this? As Kushina acknowledged, we just found out. I'm not sure how, or which one it is. Well, I can find out which one, as it is not a Biju. That much, I am certain of. Akane replied. I know the presence of a Biju, sealed or not, when I see it. The only Biju in the area is me, and I'm actually in two places. Here and inside of Naruto. There is no Phoenix Biju, and that's what I'm picking up. Akane approached. Then again, I never noticed it before all this. I'm actually quite surprised, to be honest. Sakura was a bit taken aback. Is it possible for me to talk to them myself? Akane gave a nod. Kakashi, Kushina, Naruto. All other training for her must stop in its tracks, right here and now. She needs to learn meditation. She addressed Sakura directly. When you find yourself in a place that doesn't seem anything like where you were beforehand, then you've reached the mindscape. From there, look around, and find some kind of strange power. When you find it, and are standing right in front of it, it should appear. Sakura gave a nod. How come I wasn't aware of this, Kakashi, sensei? Kakashi acknowledged. Honestly, I wasn't even aware of it. If anything, I doubt anyone does but those here. Then I believe it best kept a secret. Even from the Hokage. Naruto replied. Everyone in the room, including Kakashi, nodded. This kind of information is for her to say anything on. If it's not her saying anything, then it will not be said. They all began to return on foot. Inari reprimanded Naruto during dinner, which was a little strange. You say we're not heroes? I'm inclined to agree for all of us but one. Naruto replied. Inari yelled. What are you talking about? You're no hero. Heroes don't exist. Naruto turned in his direction. He gestured to Goku and said, he is the only one of us that is a true hero, not me. A true hero doesn't need some kind of special power, or insane strength. A true hero has courage. He has that in spades. A true hero fights for what he believes in. He does that, and has done so all his life. Goku gave a nod. A true hero is willing to die for what he believes in. I remember you saying that happened twice, correct? Yeah, that's right. I died twice, both times sacrificing myself for another's safety. Allow me to tell you a story of the first time I sacrificed myself to protect someone else, Goku replied. He related the tale of Piccolo, Raditz, and himself. He disclosed the conditions for his son's release and the fact that he had been abducted. Instead, he explained to them what he did and the outcome. I was dead for a year, and then brought back to life to face off against the next threat. A few years later, a series of events led to something called the Cell Games. That is where I died the second time. From his battle to his sacrifice, he entered the Cell Games with the intention of saving the planet. You see, a hero is not just one who lives to bring courage to others, but also is willing to fight and die for what they believe in. That way, when they do die, they don't have any regrets. The only regret I have is having to go with Shenron after I managed to defeat Omega Shenron. And believe me when I say, if there wasn't fusion, then we wouldn't be here right now. This planet, and every other planet in, I don't know how far out, would not be around. Earth's destruction would cause a chain reaction, resulting in many more lives lost. I was the only one that stayed dead that day, and that was by my own choice. Everyone gasped except for Akane and Naruto. Kushina's face was expressionless. They had heard the tale before. I heard that story from the North Kai. You took Cell to his planet as he was about to self-destruct. If you weren't an Uzumaki, then you were definitely impulsive. It may have been small, and only you died from that event. You still have to consider North Kai, Bubbles and that cricket thing. I can't remember his name. Goku acknowledged. I don't know for sure, but I think it was Gregory. But then again, they were never truly alive. They ruled the dead, so to speak. The Kais did that, and I met them all at one point. I only communicate with North Kai these days. Grand Kai, nothing big enough has come. Supreme Kai, he doesn't do anything unless it requires his attention. Kushina acknowledged. I have met the Grand Kai, but I haven't met the Supreme Kai. I did talk to Yema. I'm surprised that I was the first to keep my body from Earth ever since your granddaughter died, a few thousand years ago. No one else has come that far. Also, I did a little research. The Saiyan gene has become so diluted, and was last seen in the Rokudo Sennin, of which, the Uchiha, Senju, and Uzumaki clans originated. Naruto's eyes widened. You mean, I have Saiyan blood in me? That's why I didn't detect that much of a change in his DNA when Goku first talked to him. He expanded on the Saiyan DNA that was already there. Akane was actually thrilled. To everyone's surprise, including Akane's, Kushina continued, and you want to know the strange part? The Rokudo Sennin was a descendant of one Goku son. Vegeta had nothing in the Rokudo Sennin's ancestry. Then, suddenly interested, Goku inquired, where did his descendants end up? Kushina turned to the boy, who was still in awe, and said, I'm not going to say, just yet. I think we should wait for the time being. As for Inari, there are heroes out there. You just need to find them. Heck, you could even be one. Kaiza is already somewhat disappointed at your behavior. And honestly, I don't blame him. If I were in his position, I would be, too. Inari cast her gaze downward. I can't face him. Not like this. I just can't do anything. With a laugh, Naruto caught Inari's eye. What's so funny? Naruto answered, the fact that you said you can't do anything. Listen carefully. I was exactly like you once. Helpless, afraid, not sure whether I'd live to see another day. And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Did I sit down and cry? Inari didn't respond. No, I didn't. I got better. I got stronger. After I got stronger, did I try to kill anyone that wronged me? No, I didn't do that either. Why? Because revenge leads to nothing but darkness, and then off the deep end. We're doing what we're supposed to do. A ninja will have to kill sooner or later. Better it be a bad nut early on. At least then, it's justified. But for who? Me? You? The town? Everyone must be taken into account. Gato has done nothing but harm others. He will be dead by the end of this mission. Of that, I can guarantee. His tone was serious. A hero knows what has to be done, and will do so. A true hero will do the same, but will have no regrets in whatever comes of it, Sakura said. Kushina remarked with a hint of nostalgia, that's exactly what Minato used to say. Inari walked out of the room. I'm sorry, I have to think on this. Tsunami gave Goku a look. Did you really die twice? Yeah. And you want to know the weird part? I didn't want to come back due to the fact that trouble finds me anywhere I go. Turns out trouble found Earth anyway. I was alive again, and could raise both my sons. One of them had a daughter. That was Pan-sun, my granddaughter. I came back, and stayed alive until Omega Shenron was defeated. Then I went out with Shenron, and no one knows what happened for the next 100 years. I gave a descendant of mine some advice, and left. I wasn't supposed to be around. I'm still not supposed to be around, to be honest. Everyone let out a sigh. Naruto stepped out into the surrounding woods. Kushina followed him outside, but as soon as she stepped outside, she noticed the orange cloud. She reasoned that he should leave him alone for the time being. He will share his thoughts with me later. No, Mom. I don't think that's a good idea. Naruto? Inquired Kushina. Telepathy, Mom. Don't talk out loud. I just need to clear my head. A lot of things came up that shouldn't. Also, if I find Gato's hideout, I'll let you guys know in the morning. I need a few C-rank lightning jutsu for when I return. Mind asking Kakashi about that? Alright, my son. I'll see if I can get them. No guarantees though. I know, Mom. I know. In the woods the following morning. There were several craters nearby, some broken trees, and Naruto sprawled on the ground. When a stranger approached the area, her curiosity was piqued. When she saw a flash of gold, she realized it was Naruto. She approached him and noticed the contented smile on his face. This boy. Why does he appear so calm in what appears to be a huge twister hit? After giving it some thought, she reached for his shoulder. He grabbed her wrist right away. Naruto opened his eyes and looked at her, saying, Didn't think you'd try and get me asleep, Ms. Hunter. How did you? I recognized your signature. My sensory abilities are far beyond that of the best sensor ninja. Said Naruto. I also know that Zabuza is still alive. In fact, I've known it since an hour after we left you alone. Then you know that I can't let you tell the others. Not like you have a choice in the matter, but if I wanted to, I could have killed you. Naruto continued. The only reason you're alive right now, is because I can tell your heart is actually pure. The little girl was nervous. If you answer my questions, then I'll actually let you go back to Zabuza. Alright. I'll answer them. Naruto went on, and know that if you lie, I will be able to tell. First, what's your name? And I mean your true name. Haku. Haku Momochi. Naruto questioned, why do you help Zabuza? He is the only one that is precious to me. The only reason I'm living today. She shook her head when Naruto asked, why is that? I'll tell you my story, just don't cry for me when I do. Then Haku explained everything. After learning about her ancestry, Zabuza even went so far as to assist her at the start of what was genuinely the coldest winter the region had ever experienced. Is that all? Naruto inquired, totally perplexing her. Haku was still unaware that Naruto had released his hold on her, so he asked, what? That's nothing compared to the life of a Jinchuriki. Though it appears you retaliated, while I didn't have a viable reason to retaliate. There are some that have it worse than me. What's more is, had I not intervened, one of my teammates would be a loner, with his entire clan wiped out by his own brother. That's if he survived, that is. I helped him out when I could. As for Zabuza. Naruto let out a sigh and went on. I can understand why you want to stay with him. He's the only one that gave your life meaning, and without him, you'd feel lost, and maybe take your own life. Am I correct in my assumption? She grinned. Then you would probably kill yourself right now if I told you Zabuza's chance of survival, should he go after Tazuna again. Naruto continued, there is more to him than the others know. His heart is full of doubts and regrets. Should I turn my full wrath on him, there is no chance of his survival whatsoever. I have no wish to kill you, but if I must kill him, I will. If you take the blow, it won't matter, as it would go through you, and take him as well. You mean you were toying with him in that last fight? Naruto shot back, not toying, holding back. If I had gone all out, and I landed a direct hit on the ground, the planet would explode within minutes. I still held back even with that option out of the hat. The reason being there were others in the area that would get caught in the crossfire. If they did, they'd die of either chakra poisoning, or being ripped to shreds. Either one is viable. Haku was taken aback by his assertion, and you want us to break our contract with Gato? Considering what I heard about him, Then I wouldn't put it past him to knock Zabuza off his payroll, and hire a bunch of mercs to handle us after you're already exhausted. Then he'd take out Zabuza, and probably use you as a slave. And that's the best case scenario. He's not one to like emptying his wallet, and hiring a rogue would put a big hole in his wallet. Either drop your contract, or I'll be killing Zabuza myself, and no one from our side will interfere with me. If you get in the way, I'd probably kill you as well, and it would be a shame to kill someone so pure of heart. Naruto had a plan. More out of curiosity than anything else, Naruto questioned, what would you say if you could ride a cloud? However, Haku was perplexed by the inquiry and saw that he released her hand. However, the question prevented her from running. I don't know. Why? Naruto looked up at the sky and said, because I just thought of something. Nimbus. A cloud of orange appeared in the clearing. Try and hop on. See if you can. Though, you don't need to use chakra to stay on. In fact, I don't recommend it. Haku gave him an odd look but followed through. To her surprise, she remained. Wow. See what I mean? You're pure of heart. Zabuza is filled with doubt. If Zabuza dies here, and you live on, you're welcome to stay with me. I have no intention to force you to come, as it will be your decision. Naruto said as she gazed at him. Then Naruto himself climbed onto the cloud. The cloud squeaked, and they took off. Hey Nimbus. Let's go for a ride around the skies. When Naruto suddenly jerked, Haku gave him a back hug. It wasn't until they were well into the air that she realized she had a tail around her. At that moment, they could see a sandstorm in Wind Country. When she finally realized that a tail was keeping her on the cloud, Haku held out a hand and scooped a nearby cloud as they went by. Haku exclaimed, this is... Wow. Naruto turned to face her and remarked, by the way, I don't remember telling you my name. It's Naruto Uzumaki. Uzumaki? Inquired Haku. Isn't that the name of the clan the lava monkeys helped out? A nod was given to Naruto's question, so you know of them too, huh? And am I to assume you have a summon of some sort? She gave a head shake. Why not? I am not an official ninja, at least, not recognized by a village. A freelancer, I guess. Haku replied. I wouldn't be able to get a summon. I'm going to call bullshit on that. Something tells me you're truly of the Kori clan, am I correct? What makes you say that? Your chakra reeks of ice. It's their bloodline that allows them to use Hyouden. Naruto clarified, and they happen to have a clan summon. The Tundra Monkeys. Where did you learn of this? Naruto answered, Lava Monkeys. My summon. I don't use them often, but if I do, then it's obvious the opponent I'm up against is either using a summon themselves, or they simply outdo me more than I would want. Haku didn't say anything. She began to cry as she said, I don't know. If anyone knew, it would be my mother. Naruto turned to face Haku and said, don't cry, Haku. You're too beautiful to scar your face with tears. Then she did something she never would have imagined doing. After giving him a hug, she sobbed into his shoulder. If nothing else, Nimbus slowed down to give her time to sob uncontrollably. She sobbed for 6 minutes and 20.2 seconds. To help her relax, Naruto began massaging the middle of her back. Within her ears, he whispered, it's okay. Everything will be fine. She held the hug until she was at last at ease. Thank you. If he doesn't drop the contract, I won't interfere with your fight. I'll also take up your offer, under the name Haku Kori. I doubt he'd be able to get anything from dropping the contract, so he'll keep it. But what would you do if Gato came along during your fight? If Zabuza is still alive, and can move, I'd tell him to get out of there. What he's been doing is not only wrong, but pisses me off. Normally, I don't let that control me, but in this case, I might act on it. Also, one thing in particular about Akane. Don't attack her, period. Why not? She nodded and said, you know of the Biju, correct? She's number 9. Haku paused after saying, you have got to be kidding me. Okay, maybe you aren't. I wasn't. In fact, I'm her Jinchuriki. She's only using a clone of mine. So is Goku. The two of them seem close, but something is telling me otherwise. Almost as if they don't really like each other, or it's just one-sided, you know. Naruto continued. Haku gave a nod. I am supposed to be Zabuza's tool, and I was getting some herbs to help him heal. I kind of found you by accident. I heard tell of a turtle that said something wise. There are no accidents. Everything is intentional, though not always for the one at fault. I absolutely detest perverts, so if something causes me to appear as a pervert, then someone, or something was trying to do something. Probably out of jealousy, or something of the like, you know. Why become something I can't stand? Naruto ultimately asked. That made Haku chuckle. If he doesn't get rid of it, I'm going with you. You're too good of a person to do anything bad, but you know when it's needed. Zabuza may be close to me, but he's no longer the only thing in my life worth everything. You fit the bill. I just hope it doesn't seem like I'm using you. Never crossed my mind. Okay, it did, but I pushed that thought away quickly. For some reason, I doubt you'd do that. If it does seem like it, then please tell me. I don't want to seem like a burden to you. No problem. Okay, you won't really be a burden to me unless you're around and I'm pissed. If that happens, get out of the area as fast as you possibly can. Especially if an orange cloak appears. It comes through with rage. The angrier I am, the more tails appear. All the way up to 9. And if it reaches the third tail. What then? Naruto uttered the menacing words, all hell will break loose. If it goes further than that, then things are not going to be easy for anyone in the area. Survival lies on your chance to get away, which tends to be slim at best. It's easier if you have little strength, to be honest. I may have my own mind up to 7 tails, but that's only if I call on it myself. If it's rage-induced, then I'd start losing my sense of reason at 4 tails, and then lose it all by the time 6 tails come. Haku gave a nod. Should I warn him about getting you mad? If you do, then tell him that it would prove a bigger challenge than before. I'm not even going to go into what happens during that state. Naruto replied. Especially if I lose it. Haku gave a nod. By this time, the sun was already fairly high. He looked down and said, wow, we spent a lot of time up here. Wait, we're over Earth country. Haku questioned, you weren't watching where we were going. I don't have to. Nimbus is sentient. He can think on his own. All I asked for was a flight. No set destination. But since we're here. He glanced around. Aha. Nimbus, let's head over there. They crossed over to the north. Before long, they noticed something floating too high in the sky to be seen otherwise. Okay, call me crazy, but is that thing floating? Haku responded. Sorry, but you're not crazy. That's Kami's lookout. Or at least, that's what it's called. The home of Tazuna in Wave Country, Akane and Kushina were concerned about Naruto's whereabouts. They were out of their line of sight. Kakashi said, Kushina, what's wrong? I can't sense Naruto. He's left my range. Akane added, mine too. I can barely feel him through our link, but that's all I can feel. He's either so weak I can't sense him, and I can sense his ki as well as chakra, or he's left my range, meaning beyond halfway through Fire Country. Goku entered the space. What's with the glum mood? Kakashi called out, it's Naruto. Kushina was about to cry as she said, I'm not even back for a week and I've already lost him. However, Akane did notice something. Goku, why aren't you worried about him? Akane, do you know where the lookout is? Over Earth Country, but no way. Goku said, yup. That's where he's at right now. Thing is, he's not alone there. That hunter ninja is there as well. According to Kakashi, you're kidding me. I wish I were. I've kind of been keeping tabs on his ki. I've got a lot wider range than you think, Akane. Goku raised his eyebrows. King Kai, can you hear me? You are audible to me. If you're curious as to why he's at the lookout with that hunter ninja, you might want to know. To get there, they both took the Nimbus Cloud. Startled, Goku questioned, wait, she could ride the Nimbus Cloud? But that would mean she's pure of heart. Kakashi gave him a perplexed look. The flying Nimbus is an orange cloud that can travel up to about 90 mph. Not just anyone can ride it, though. You have to be pure of heart. I was able to ride it, but my teacher, Master Roshi, couldn't ride it. I think it's because he's a big pervert of sorts. Oh. That would explain a lot. But if the hunter ninja could ride it, then that means he's being manipulated. No, she isn't. King Kai informed them. Because she saved his life, she is assisting him. She was never really a part of any village. Kakashi questioned, then why did he do that? Because there was something familiar about her that Naruto recognized. She certainly has a pure heart. He brought her there for other reasons, though. After a while, she sobbed into his shoulder. I think that was quite the waterworks. Her father attempted to murder her. They were all shocked by this. Inari came in, followed by Sakura and Sasuke. What's up? Inquired Sakura. Everyone's eyes were on her. Sakura, Naruto is doing something that would seem strange, even to me. And I've been with him since birth. I think you ought to be aware, Sakura, that you have some rivals in Haku. I recently learned that Kushina is a member of the Kori clan. You're kidding. No, her mother is deceased, and she does possess the ice bloodline. She told me that she was descended from the Kori clan, So Haku does share her ancestry. If Zabuza doesn't terminate his contract with Gato, Naruto has offered her a place to stay in Konohagakure. She has no intention of fighting him. If it were between him and Zabuza, it appears that Haku would support Naruto. And if she comes to us, the Tundra Monkey summons is not available to her, you know I can find them. Additionally, Kushina said, please do, King Kai. If we get her with her clan's summons, and she comes with us, we'd be able to unite the 3 monkey summons under one banner. I took note. Hold on a minute. About 50 seconds passed. Located them. The north is where they are, Snow Country. That's not a good area for Naruto to go. It's gotten quite hectic, and since he has Konohagakure's symbol on his headband, and if Dodo is still in power, then he'd try to kill him on sight. Kami's watch. Haku and Naruto were just lying on the tile and gazing up at the sky. Alright, space. Staring up, Haku said, you know, I could get used to this. It's relaxing. It makes it feel like the universe is at peace. It never truly is though. Haku went on, but it's good to dream, right? Naruto closed his eyes and said, yeah. Then a voice spoke to him. Your mother was concerned about you, Naruto. Haku was alerted when the blonde shot straight up. King Kai. What do you? Damn, I forgot about them. I thought that Goku would be able to pick my key signature up, even from this range. She isn't overly concerned because he did. And I've been listening to what you're saying. You're correct, too. She belongs to the clan of Kori. Yema helped her find her mother. Kori is the surname. Additionally, I went out of my way to locate the Tundra monkeys for you too. Haku said, you did that for me? Of course. I must somehow assist him. After all, my student has been looking after him. Well, I must thank you. At least I know someone that is close to me, and someone else that would be close. Haku replied. Naruto, if there's anything I can do to repay you. Just live on. Whether it's with me, Zabuza, or on your own, live on. That's all I truly ask for. Naruto intervened. It may not be a good thing to interrupt someone else, but all I really want to do is protect something. That something is life. The more life that I help, the better I feel about myself. Okay, then. Haku should accompany you to Snow Country if you were given a mission there. Right now, the Tundra monkeys are there. Naruto said, thanks for the tip, King Kai. Don't bring it up. You should probably go back now. Haku, don't forget to bring a Senzu bean. Senzu bean? Wait, you're kidding, right? No, I'm not Naruto. At the current pace, Goku's assistance with the bridge will be completed tomorrow. Gato will take action if Zabuza does not act quickly. After Goku abandoned him on Namek, he became even more paranoid than Frieza. Okay. That's bad. What do you suppose I'm trying to tell you? King Kai inquired. Give the bean to Zabuza, Haku. As Naruto hands it to you. He will return to full strength after eating it. Leave tomorrow. I'll share this development with the others. Naruto created a shadow clone to obtain the beans after saying, okay. Thanks for the heads up. It returned swiftly and was given to Haku. Take this bean to Zabuza. Let him rest up physically until tomorrow. If he doesn't cancel the contract, come, but don't interfere. If he does, take Gato out. I already said that Gato will be dead before we are done with the mission. I'm not going back on that. Haku said, all right. I'm in. If he doesn't make it out of there, I'll be using his Kabikari Hocho in the event of his death. Fight in his memory, as well as for those precious to me. As Haku leapt onto Nimbus, Naruto, surrounded by a blue aura, said, okay. Let's do it. Both of them took direct flights to Wave Country. Naruto landed outside Tazuna's house, and Haku landed outside Zabuza's hiding place. Tsunami was in the kitchen when he entered. I'm glad you're back, Naruto. I was surprised to hear you weren't even in the country anymore. Naruto stated, had a few things to take care of. Anyway, we need to let the workers know not to show up to the bridge tomorrow. Tazuna entered the space. Naruto, I can't say your little plan is smart. In fact, it's downright insane. Before Sakura arrived, Naruto declared, I specialize in 2 things, strategy-wise. Bat. Shit insane. And the impossible. Kushina approached him from behind and gave him a hug. Mom. You didn't need to do that. I thought Goku would have told you where I was if you asked. Naruto replied. Kushina remarked, you've gone for an insane plan. Yet I couldn't be more proud. You've learned a lot without me around, and you've matured on your own. I didn't do this alone. Akane and Goku were both there to help me out, but remember, this is something I have to do on my own. Although, this time, Akane replied. You're going to be inside, Akane. What? Why? Because the cloak is only sentient with you on the inside. That's what I intend on using to get rid of Zabuza. Naruto replied. How many? 4. If needed, I'll go 5, but I doubt it. I have to have some kind of control in case I get pissed off, replied Naruto. Before Naruto raised a hand, Kushina began, you mean to say? I'll be combining it with the Super Saiyan. It makes it easier to bear, for some reason. Each of them gave a nod. The following day the nearly finished bridge was surrounded by a light mist. Haku and Zabuza were awaiting Naruto's arrival. Together with the other members of Team 7, Naruto, Goku, and Tazuna appeared. The others were behind Naruto, who motioned for them to stop while he continued. He turned to face the masked Haku, who nodded. I take it you gave him the bean? He asked. Well then, I hope you're ready, Zabuza. Zabuza thickened the mist and said, I sincerely hope you're as much of a challenge as Haku said you would be. Naruto began to crouch and said, this mist didn't work on me last time. What makes you think it will now? Before being covered in a red-orange cloak, he went Super Saiyan and ended up on all fours. Are you ready for this? He pulled out his sword as Haku leapt over the bridge's edge and landed on Nimbus, saying, oh, this is gonna be fun. Zabuza grunted as Naruto swung out a hand. He vanished and then appeared directly in front of Zabuza, striking him in the face. 3 tails, and that's all you've got? He asked. He was launched into the woods. Naruto phased out and landed in the forest directly in front of Zabuza, saying, I really should have expected more from an A-rank rogue. When Zabuza said, you're good. I can rest easy with Haku now. Naruto halted in his tracks. What do you mean? I cut the contract, but Gato doesn't know about me doing this. Haku is to live on. I intend on dying here. She will get my bounty. Zabuza responded in a weak voice. Then why did you attack? Naruto was aware that Zabuza's ki was rapidly fading. To see if you were worthy. You are far beyond worthy. Take care of her when I'm gone. 1 hit, that's it. It's the chakra poisoning. My Yuki is harmful to anyone else. Your body has a natural immunity to it, being as have been with you your entire life. Your Saiyan blood has also helped out in that regard. However, he is not that lucky. I'm going to disengage the cloak. Take him back to Haku, and tell her the news. Following Akane's removal of the cloak, Naruto did exactly that. Haku removed her mask as he landed on the bridge directly in front of her. Sorry about this, Haku. He died of chakra poisoning. Well, you did warn me about that. What were his last words? Asked Haku. Before he could respond, Naruto received the memories of a shadow clone after a plank struck the bridge's edge. Everyone looked at the newcomers. In front of the roughly 100 hefty, armed men was a man holding a cane. So, Zabuza was defeated Naruto said, perplexing everyone else. Well, considering the fact he wasn't here for your goals, I can't say much for you. Haku was a little taken aback when he said, the contract he had with you was terminated last night, you just didn't hear of it. But he said, I'm not sure what he told you, but he did it to test me. You're welcome to come with us if you want Haku, but first, he returned to Gato. You're going down. Wait. Said Kushina. She finally yelled at the end, I've got this. Tazuna, I'm sorry if something happens to the bridge. Everyone else, get off the bridge, now. Goku, Haku, and Naruto were the only ones who did not jump onto the water near the bridge. Haku was now on Nimbus, and Goku and Naruto were in the air. Naruto, pay close attention to this one jutsu. It's the same one I used back in the war for my record. Suddenly, Naruto became curious about what was going to occur. In about 9 seconds, Kushina completed 63 hand signs. Kushina exclaimed, Yoden. Ultimate Magma Storm. As a whirling pillar of rising lava encircled her, shooting her body in multiple directions before charging her adversaries. All those remaining on the bridge had perished. Any bodies that remained were either adhered to the concrete or already in the water. Apart from the bodies, the only significant damage was a circular fissure that encircled Kushina's position. Upon examining the area, Kushina discovered that Gato's body was adhered to the side. Kushina flew up to Naruto, Goku, and Haku after using a water jutsu to remove everything else from the bridge. And that's how it's done. Of course, I was using ki for that. It's a lot more potent, and as long as I add enough chakra to make the element, ki can do the rest. Naruto gave a nod. That kind of information would come in handy. I can conserve a lot chakra like that. Kushina gave a nod. Also, I left Zabuza's body out of the line of fire. Haku, If there's anything else you want to say regarding him, you can do so right now, if you wish. We'll give him a proper burial. After giving him a nod, Haku approached him. Zabuza. I'm sorry I didn't help you out here. I should have, but I didn't. There was nothing I could do. However, I won't give in to despair. I will live on. With your sword at my side, we will take the world by storm. Haku took out his sword in its sheath. I am proud to have been close to you, but now, I have to move on. For both of our sakes. I will be with Naruto from now on, though I will visit you when I have the chance to. Over the dead body of Zabuza, a ghostly phantom materialized. Haku. I'm glad you stuck with me to the end. You are to get my bounty, as you are the one that got it as high as it was. You do not need to be proud of yourself, as I am already proud of you. Do not lose your conviction, or your determination, and remember what I said about fanboys and fangirls. The path of a shinobi is harsh, but you can survive it. Believe in Naruto, like you believed in me. Even when I didn't deserve it. Also, teach him some of your wind jutsu. He could probably use it. Haku started to cry and Naruto approached her, rubbing her back as he had done previously. Thank you. Zabuza. Rest in peace. You may not think you deserve it, but you do. I will live out both of our lives. She turned to give him a hug. For several minutes, they remained in that posture, allowing her to express herself completely. Naruto gave the others a few glares and instructed them to keep their distance for the moment. Alright. Why did you need me in here, if you were going to finish it that quickly? Akane, not right now. I have to do something. Haku needs someone to weep with. She needs it and can cry on mine whenever I'm around. To be honest, I thought the fight would last a little longer. Alright, fine. But when we get back, tell Goku to dispel. I want to talk to him in private. I got it. No remarks on this, either. Haku doesn't have to despise us for this. She wouldn't, and you know it. That doesn't alter the possibility that she dislikes embarrassment. They halted their conversation so Haku could finish sobbing uncontrollably. Oh. Point taken. He picked up Zabuza's body when they were finished, and they buried him after locating a good vantage point. At the head of the grave is a small wooden cross. Sasuke approached Naruto and Haku, who were both present. Despite being aware of his presence, Naruto remained silent. He was singing Yema a silent prayer. Sasuke, however, placed himself on his knees before the grave. Zabuza, there was more to you than anyone else knew. I know that Haku could see the true you. The side of you no one else could ever see since you were young. And for that, you lived as a true ninja. I am sorry you had to die like this. If it's any consolation, the one who took you out is someone that no one wants to piss off, unless they had a death wish. Sasuke raised his eyebrows. I lost my father since he was an arrogant fool. And I don't miss him one bit. You, however, weren't a fool. You actually cared for someone else. For that, you have earned my respect. You didn't choose wrong when you said to trust Naruto. If I had to choose one person for that, I would have chosen the same person. Naruto paused his silent prayer at that point and turned to face Sasuke. You're kidding me, right? Sasuke gave a headshake. If there's one person on this planet that I can trust, it's you, Naruto. I don't even trust my own mother that much. You let me know of what Fugaku was doing. You even did as I asked when I asked you to let me know when the punishment was going to be dished out. You're a man of your word. Always have been. Naruto said in a low voice, even though I'm the one who took him out in the first place, it was still caught by Sasuke. What? Sasuke asked him directly. The Uchiha squabble, you already know the truth about it. However, you don't know who dished out the punishment for their actions. Goku, Akane, and myself. We're the ones that did that. I'm the one that came up with the plan, to make sure that the innocent are spared. Anyone who didn't listen to Itachi's warning, they made their choice. No one that was in the compound was spared. Everyone that was innocent was evacuated before the event. That way, there was no collateral damage. It was better than what Danzo would have thought up. You probably wouldn't even be here if he made the plan. Now you've still got about half of the clan left, instead of 1 or 2. Your mother is still alive as well. Now I have my mother back. I also heard that our mothers were friends before mine died. Sasuke simply gave him a nod. I figured that there was more to what you were doing than you let on. You were probably watching us back then, weren't you? He replied. Then you knew about it before I did? Long beforehand. In fact, this was before I entered the academy. 3 weeks beforehand, in fact, replied Naruto. That's how I knew about it. I knew the full details the clan had come up with before you awakened your Sharingan. A high-speed fight would have done that. Sasuke gave a nod. Thanks for telling me this. I know you kept it from me for a reason. I'm not going to bother asking for the reason, as it doesn't matter. It could have been a lot worse, but you made it better than anyone else possibly could. I still owe a few thanks to Goku and Akane for teaching me in the first place. I mean, it's mainly because of them I'm so good. A teacher influences the students' choices. If they do something wrong, then it's because their teacher did not teach them correctly, or at all. Naruto said. He turned to face the grave. Zabuza, as much as I hate to admit it, you're the first kill I actually regret making. I was actually hoping you'd survive to live on with Haku. But me and my own idiocy lead to this. And that is why you never want to piss off a Jinchuriki. The risk of chakra poisoning is high. Maybe 90% chance, you know? If there's a cloak, then once contact is made, the odds of survival, unless immunity is already there, is less than 1%. But you didn't fight to kill. You fought to test me. Meaning, I shouldn't regret the kill, but I do. Standing beside him, Haku remarked, funny how things work out. He didn't even tell me he cancelled the contract. He tested you to see how trustworthy you were. It seems it was more than he thought at first. I'm glad he wanted me to be with you. Naruto gave a nod. That doesn't change the fact that I regret taking him out. He didn't really need to die, but he did. Sasuke said, Naruto, he was a rogue. You said it yourself. He would have died sometime anyway. Whether he was captured by some mercenary, which is unlikely, or killed by someone, he'd be dead before or as he reached Kirigakure. There's no way around it. I only hope he went out with no regrets. Newsflash, Naruto. Unless it's important, I don't think I want to hear about it. Then you may want to take a seat. Instead of being sent to hell, Zabuza was accepted into Otherworld. That's good news, how about that? You mean? Yes, he has his body and all of its parts. Let's move on to the next piece. When he got there, I spoke with him, and he told me he had no regrets about his passing. He wants you to remain with Naruto, Haku. Find a boyfriend and lead a calm life. Touch my back with your hand. I can't tell you the rest. A different voice began speaking to them. I understand that you might despise me for what I did, Haku. To be honest, I most likely deserve it, but unlike what I claimed I would do when we left Kiri, I didn't view you as merely a tool. To me, you were like a daughter. I wanted one. When I discovered it, it wasn't due to your ancestry either. You were so naive. Never wishing to cause harm to others. Not wanting to kill, of course. Even though I taught you how to be a ninja, that is not the life for you. To find out if Naruto was capable, I had to put him to the test. I didn't tell you about it for that reason. I would have knocked him out if he couldn't handle it, and I would have stopped once Gato was dead. To be honest, I didn't care about the mercenaries. Gato's head on a pike was what I wanted. Naruto said, I think we can arrange that. Haku said, I agree completely. Haku said, the question is, where do we put it? I had heard about a hero's death in Wave Country. Put it there as a reminder to people who tamper with heroes. People will be aware that local heroes are not to be trifled with. With a gleam of evil in his eye, Naruto uttered, that will do perfectly. Sasuke said, don't even go there, Naruto. This is no time for a prank. Naruto questioned, who said the look was for a prank? No, this is redemption. Assuming he had some sort of insane scheme, Haku said, lay it on me. She was correct. The following morning. The location of a hero's self-sacrificing act was announced to the public. When they arrived, they discovered something new, even though everyone knew where to go. It was a skull, its hair still intact, with a pike piercing the top of the cranium slightly and passing through the bottom. There was a plaque with an inscription on the pike. This is a tyrant's head that killed off those who aspired to be heroes. Let this serve as a lesson to all of you. Nobody eliminates a hero. Without someone else pursuing them, may peace be with the heroes of the past. May the soul of Gato burn in hell. People were obviously pleased to learn that everything had gone so smoothly. The bridge was completed the following day, but because of the celebration held in their honor, Team 7 members Kushina and Haku stayed an additional day. However, Naruto was not taking part. He actually just sat with 2 orange balls on a roof. 2 stars were awarded to one, and 6 stars to the other. To believe that Gato possessed 2 Dragon Balls. I didn't anticipate that one. I hope they are not discovered by Orochimaru. He would be after them if he did. Naruto, I understand your thoughts, and believe me, I would agree. However, we'd have to tell the others about the legend, as it has become a threat to those not worthy of its power. I am aware of that. Goku is at least having a good time. I can't seem to enjoy myself at the moment. That's all. These 2 are going to the lookout with me. Then Naruto sensed someone was coming toward him. "Naruto, why aren't you down there enjoying the festival?" replied Kushina. "Something on my mind. I just figured out what to do about it, but I'd have to go for this alone," replied Naruto. Naruto began floating up and then went out in a flash of gold. "Sorry, but if you ask Goku about the legend regarding the Dragon Balls, you should be able to figure it out easily." "Dragon Balls? Why would he? No, it isn't possible. It's clear that the others are present if Gato had any. This only adds to the complexity." Kushina was ranting about the entire situation in her head. She walked straight into Goku without realizing it. While stuffing his face, he exclaimed, "Kushina, come on. Goku, we have a problem. A big problem. How big we talking about?" With a steely expression on Goku's face, Kushina responded, "I'm thinking dragon big, with a hint of 7. Then we better move it, and find the others. How many do we know of have been found?" 2, as far as I know. Naruto has the exact number, apparently. He's the one that made it apparent. Kushina replied. Goku's expression brightened. "For now, have some fun. There's nothing else to go for, and it will take some time before someone else realizes their possible use. We'll bring it up when we get back to the village." Kushina gave a nod, and they both ate at absurdly rapid speeds.
So that's it for today. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe to the channel for more awesome stories like this. Thank you. See you all in my next video.